What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, vexyz, the lurking legend, head cook of the last arc. Y'all can just call me Vex. Welcome, and thank you guys for being here. I see y'all popping off in the chat already. We got quite a fire stream ready for you guys today. I'm gonna introduce some of the crew here in just a second. I just wanted to let you guys know, make sure you go down in the description, support all of us, and click on all of our links and join the Discord if you want to be a part of the discussion. We are about to be talking about who we think will be the 10th and final crew member. This is the definitive stream where we figure it out as a crew and as a community who it's going to be. Speaking of the crew and the community, let's go ahead and introduce some of our wonderful guests here today. We have the historian of the last arc himself. We have Kube of the Red Sea of the Nothing Happened podcast. How you doing today, brother?
Hey man, just excited. I'm excited to be here, to finally have a definite answer on who is going to be the possible 10th, I was going to say Titanic captain, that's the wrong crew, the 10th Straw Hat.
Hey, maybe it could be both. Yeah, maybe we'll be talking about Kuzan, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, why not both?
But I'm excited, guys. I'm excited.
Hell yeah. Then we have the captain of the last arc himself. We have close personal friend of mine. Dude's like a brother to me. Check him out on his own channel for Group 14 Mikey's Men and his own Rambling Addiction series. We have the Straw Hat Lucas. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, brother. Very excited to be here. As Vex said, make sure you go subscribe to my channel. New episode of Rambling Addiction is coming out this week. And if you are not part of the last arc Discord, make sure you get in there. I'm going to be, the Rambling Addiction episode this week will be on the theories of the punk record section of the Discord. So get in there, spit a theory. Maybe I'll show it in the video. It's going to be a good time today, guys. Can't wait to, prove that Carrot's going to be the last Nakama.
Oh my god. Well, spoiler alerts for the later parts of this stream. Speaking of Mr. Bushido, we have a 9-month membership post saying bring it on in the chat by Mr. Bushido 56. I love the energy. Last but certainly not least, we have the frontline combatant of the last arc himself. We have NoChillDill, who can also be seen over on Group 2 on my channel and Group 3 on Diregulus's channel weekly.
Yo, yeah, you can check me out over there, either on Vex's channel on Tuesday, 8 p.m. EST, or you can find me on Diregulus's channel in about 2.5, maybe 3-ish hours, where we'll have Group 3, the Blottos. We have it every Saturday at 6:30-ish EST PM. You can also, let's see, we got, you can also see me next week here on TLA on Wednesday, where we have another special event stream going on. If you're part of the Discord, you already know what it is, and hopefully you already got your boards started, people.
Let's go. Absolutely. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be a part of the Wednesday stream, but I will be sending my picks for the favorite characters to the homies. We have also just been joined by, give me just a second, who's at the first mate? We have
first mate.
We have
it's the first mate himself.
We have Denjamin Kushi.
Yo, thank you very much. Super
I'm calling big cap on that.
I'll fight for that one.
Yeah, wicked. So am I doing intro, am I?
Yeah. Just let the people know what's good, where they can find you, and then we'll cut right into agenda piece after this.
Okay, right, I'll do it naturally like no one noticed. Hey Vex, thanks for having me.
Hey.
It's been amazing so far, thrilling stuff so far, gripping. I'm a One Piece theorist on YouTube with a few subscribers. Make sure to sub to everyone here and like all their stuff, and and I'm excited for this one. It's cool to have the crew together, and it's a Saturday, so yeah, good vibes. And just I'm sure there's going to be some tensions in the chat, so I'm excited to see.
Oh yeah, to address that before we get into any of the hot takes, any of the agendas that we will surely be slinging today, I wanted to first and foremostly say two things to the audience. Three things, actually. First, like D-Stream. Second, we here at TLA, we all love One Piece and are very passionate about it, and we could speak at length and have spoken at length about it. And thirdly, we are extremely appreciative of the community that we all work very hard to foster amongst and all of our individual members. So no hard feelings, and this is all in good fun. But I expect to see the death of an agenda today. I'm sorry, but so with all of that out of the way, if you're not a part of the Discord already, like Lucas had said earlier, check out the link in the description. Hop into the Discord so you can be a part of the everyday discussion. We're going to be engaging in the chat pretty frequently and seeing some of y'all's takes, but we're mostly going to kind of go one by one and go around like around a campfire and see what our main picks are going to be for who is the definitive 10th and final crew member, and then we'll duke it out and either defend or contend against each other's takes. So we're going to start off with the captain himself. We have the Straw Hat Lucas. Who is your first pick for the 10th and final crew member?
Just to get it out of the way, since I said it before stream as a joke, it's Gaimon and Sarfunkel joining together. Think about it, chat. Think about it. The first thing we see Luffy do on his adventure is climb into a barrel. Who was stuck in a barrel? Sarfunkel. Case proven.
This guy's cooking.
No, I'd actually say for my first pick would probably, just to get like some obscure ones out of the way, I would love to see Kinemon come back and join up with the crew, if not with the crew, with the Grand Fleet at some point. I just feel like there's so much more to him that like we didn't get to see. I mean, he is the Foxfire Kinemon. He stood up to Kaido on the roof. Like, I need to see what he's going to do in this final war.
Interesting. I know I've heard a lot of people, because he was with us as a part of the crew, like sailing along for so many arcs, like since Punk Hazard all the way up until the conclusion of Wano, like pretty much the entire what the community dubs as the Four Emperors saga. And so I know it's like it's a popular pick for somebody that we thought was going to be evergreen and stick around, but I think, in my opinion, I think he's kind of served his time. I think that like we're not going to see anything new from him outside of Wano, which is where he is meant to thrive at this point in the story. He's contributed everything he needs to, and Zoro already knows the Foxfire style, so we don't need him.
He's got a fair point.
It's fighting time. He does. That's why I said it's fighting time.
It's fighting time.
Quick shout out to Mr. Bushido with 2 euros in the chat. You're all wrong. 13 crewmates, not 10. That's speculation, my man. That is just a theory. A strong theory, but just a theory.
An anime theory.
Oh my goodness.
An anime theory. Luffy
We got another
10 men, not 13.
We also got another 2 euro super chat from Mr. Bushido 56 that said Momo Carrot Vivi, man of few words today, but I love your passion. He also said Kinemon will unalive. This man's invincible, as from what we've seen. That's not gonna happen. Or like not even like the test of time will take this guy away from the story. I think he's gonna be 800 plus years old. Like eventually, he is indestructible at this point. I am bushido convinced.
I want to comment on what Mr. Bushido was saying. The three that I could see joining is Vivi, Momo, and Shirahoshi instead of Carrot, because that's what would be needed to control the ancient weapons, and they make sense to be a part of the crew. Outside of those suggestions, you'll have to wait for my takes later on.
Yeah. Shout out real quick to the man, the myth, the legend, Ghost Train of Thought. If you have not, go check out his channel, subscribe, go check out his TikTok. My man just had a video hit 2-point-something million views. So big dubs in the chat for Ghost Train. He said with $2.79 Monopoly money, Carrot won't be among the 13 if that's the case. Hard.
Well, trust me, we're stick around, Carrot fans and Carrot haters, because we're gonna have a lengthy discussion. I guarantee you about that. But right now, any other thoughts on Kinemon?
Yeah. So for me, I think Kinemon is I would be 100% for Kinemon to become the 10th member, if after what we see what he went through, you know, to go back to Wano to bring peace in Wano. So I do feel like it's time for his retirement.
Yeah.
I completely
Time for
agree.
I
a
just
bit
want
of
to
the-
see,
Yeah,
because I know
but
if Luffy calls the
but-
Grand Fleet, that the people of Wano will show up, and I just want to see what
Yeah.
he would do in the final war. Is really what
Yeah.
it comes down to.
No, I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of the whole ninja samurai pirate mink alliance and all of the members that were involved, and I think that was like a really but I think they all have a home in the Grand Fleet. You know, I don't we'll get into more of the members that people have thought were Straw Hat candidates throughout the years and whatnot, of that were also a part of the Ninja Pirate Samurai Mink Alliance, whatever order those words all go in. There's going to be more individuals from that category, but I think that specifically Kinemon and many of the other members of that category, they all have a wonderful and comfortable position in the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. I don't think that they are Nakama officially, though, or Nakama material. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
A huge shout out to so many of we're seeing so much love in the chat. We love you guys, all of you. Thank you
I know
so
it's
much.
raining right now.
Yeah, you guys are so goated. If anybody in the chat has any final thoughts on Kinemon, before we move on to Brother Dill's first take of the stream, please let us know. We'll make sure we address those. We did just get another €5 super chat from Mr. Bushido56. Dude's making it rain today. Huge W Bushidos in the chat. He said, kind of off topic, but you brought it up. Shirahoshi will be kidnapped by Blackbeard soon. Cross Guild goes after Wano, either Keen or Yamato unalives or both. Very interesting. I have heard some of your takes on this before. I think that as far as the Shirahoshi thing, it's going to be obvious. I think that's kind of obvious, is eventually she will become a very central plot point. As far as Cross Guild going to Wano, I'm not positive about that, but let's go ahead and get to Keen is the Glenn from The Walking Dead is crazy.
Oh my God.
Let's go.
I saw someone else say that too, and I have to point out, as a super duper Walking Dead fan, Glenn never had any luck in The Walking Dead. The only time he ever had to face death was with Negan. Yes, he faced walkers and stuff, but that whole hiding of the dumpster thing, that was all show only, my man. So that's a bad comparison. Continue,
This is now a Walking Dead stream, guys.
Yeah.
I know we normally
Last week on
cover
The
One
Walking Dead.
Piece, but we're coral. No, sorry. Now we are gonna go over to Dill, Brother Dill. Who is your first pick for the 10th and final crew member of the Straw Hat Pirates?
So, not counting all the honorary Straw Hats and all the allies that we've had along the way, I definitely think that before the wrap up of the series, we get Laboon and, by extension, Crocus following along with the Straw Hats.
Very hilarious that the second you said Laboon, we get a member for 13 months message from the Dak Sake, Brother Dak, friend of the TLA crew. He said Vivi is already a Straw Hat, by the way, and then a series of emojis that are, I'm assuming, down talking Carrot and Top Man and hyping Laboon. So we know you got one supporter in the chat already. That's hilarious.
It's funny because I didn't even know he was popping in the chat whenever I was saying that, but I do think that because of the resolution in the world state after the final war, there will no longer be the red line blocking Laboon's path to be reunited with the rest of the Straw Hats.
You guys had to have planned that. Like you were in Dak's DMs like, I'm about to spit. Like, no, I think
I'm about to say Laboon.
I think that's a huge W. But like the way that I see Laboon, and no disrespect, I know there are some very passionate Laboon fans / Top Man haters in the community right now and in the chat right now and in this call right now. And I love Laboon, and I absolutely think that we will 100% meet back up with him and that he will join the cause and maybe even be a part of the final war. I've heard some cool theories by Dak himself on that, but I think that he will act as a ship, like more than a crew member, and that he will I see him as more Grand Fleet material. You know what I mean? Like it's like Brooks +1. but not like necessarily like an actual crew member. But he, I don't know, he did fight with Luffy, and they did put the Jolly Roger or some version of it on his face and stuff like that. So I mean, I could see it, but like the way that I see it is he's Grand Fleet material.
Called
And
him by his real name. So there's that.
Also, for me, also for Laboon, and the reason why I'm against the 10th captain is because he's a goal for one of the Straw Hats, like an ambition, a big thing, like something that he holds dear to his heart. And I'd rather see how that storyline pans out than having Laboon, like just Laboon joining them instead.
Yeah,
it is a live goal for Brook.
It's on their rotation after, like, it's Final Wars done, played out,
Victory
the Red Line
lap
destroyed, gone.
Yeah.
Okay, Victory lap.
Laboon and Crocus, because Crocus would be inside of him, but Laboon, seeing the Red Line out of his way, no longer in his way, would be able to just swim wherever he wants to, and via extension, he would be able to swim straight to the sound of Bink Sake being played by Brook.
Yo, we got shout out.
Dax said about. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna address Dak's message as well. Huge shout out to Desnus the Dwarf as well, the goat, for being in the chat. But yeah, go ahead and read off what Dak said, because you're already talking about it, Lucas.
Oh no, I was just gonna agree. Like what he said about Vivi already being Nakama. Laboon is also already Nakama. Like he may not be a full-on crewmate, but he does have the Straw Hats Jolly Roger painted on his face, so people know, like, hey, this whale, he's part of the Straw Hats.
There's no way.
This is
2 years later that paint is still there. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
No. So
because they did that so that he wouldn't bash his head against the wall. Yeah, that was the whole point of it.
His entire promise to him was, hey, keep this flag in tip-top shape for the time I see you again. And that's what stuck with Laboon. That's why he's like, all right, I'm not going to smack my head in the wall anymore.
Exactly.
Because if it gets ruined, he won't be my friend. But what I was going to bring up as you were saying that is that now that he's got the flag painted on him, and guess who is a brand new Yonko, and that counts as Yonko territory, my boys.
Yes, sir.
I mean, the way that I see
what
it
said in the comments about the Final War is also really good. About there's 100% chance that they're going to arrive at the Final War inside of Laboon. I really like that, like a lot.
Yeah, so Laboon, the way that I see it is that yes, it was a sentiment that they added the Jolly Roger onto Laboon so that he didn't do that, but like they also wrote the X's on their hand or on their arms so that they go. Do they still have the X's 2 years later? No. It's the sentiment, you know what I mean? Like Vivi is still a Straw Hat, and Laboon is still, like, if not a Straw Hat, Grand Fleet. I'm not hating on Laboon. I love Laboon, but I do not think when we see him again, he'll have the Jolly Roger still on his face 2 years later after swimming in the ocean. Absolutely not.
I think, what I mean? Like, it's worth mentioning that, like, a lot of people speculate that Laugh-Tale has got something to do with Reverse Mountain, right? And we met Laboon on Reverse Mountain, and the Jolly Roger is like almost like when Shanks put his flags on an island, it comes under his protection. So, and Laboon's an island whale, so it's kind of in a way like Luffy like put his stake on an island at the very beginning of the Grand Line. Right next
roll the tape back, because we have a post time skip cover story that has Laboon with the Straw Hats logo still on his head.
Didn't we just see him in a panel during reaction piece and it wasn't there?
That is true.
Just saying. But I think it's really interesting, and I think that Laboon definitely is going to be something that, like, that's at the finish line, basically, or on the other side of the finish line, or maybe he will find a way around, like a loophole or something, or something else will happen that he'll be put, he might be integral to finding Laugh-Tale. He might be something involved in the Final War, or he might be just like during the victory lap. But I think that, yeah, he's absolutely coming back into the story. I just still think, in my opinion, he's Grand Fleet material, and I don't necessarily like. I think that the strongest case is the Jolly Roger thing. Like, he absolutely could be crew. But I don't know, like I could respect that take, absolutely. But for me specifically, I still put him in Grand Fleet. Does anybody else have any major takes on Laboon as the 10th and final member of the Straw Hats?
I'm good.
I'm good.
If you hate the whale, you're a top man supporter.
Okay.
That is facts. But I am also a top man supporter.
Can't we
Yeah,
all
you
just
hate
get
the whale.
along?
No, I love the whale and top man.
I think
You're the board.
Impossible.
we should definitely throw it back though to you dipped out for a minute, so I skipped, but we're
Hey,
going
yo.
in a bit of a rotation. Hey yo, pause. Den Kushi. Do you have who's your first pick aside from Kinemon or Laboon for who will be the 10th and final crew member of the Straw Hats? Like and subscribe.
While we're
Den-
waiting on Denden to speak, Laboon actually did have the painting on his face during the reaction piece. I dropped it in the VC chat.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
not
he
going to be
did.
able to
He
open
did.
that up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. Yeah, he still has it. But hey, guys, it could also be simply as Crocus being nice about it, just repaints
It's part of their morning
every-
routine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Part
It
of the
could be a
morning
simple
routine.
thing.
Well, I
Yeah, it
guess,
could be a fake, you know.
okay, Denden's back.
Bushido.
Y'all are doing backflips for this not to be the same painting that Luffy did when it just makes more sense for Laboon to not have smacked his head against the red line after Luffy told him not to, saying, "Hey, I'll be back."
Lucas,
don't do this.
Lucas, don't take the bait. Don't do it. But Denden, who is your 10th? Or who's your first pick for the 10th and final crew member of the Straw Hat Pirates?
What, you want my like actual legit pick straight off the bat?
Well, Lucas
No,
opened
no,
up
no,
with
like just,
Gaimon and Kinemon, and Dill opened up with the Boon. But you can pull out a heavy hitter, whatever you want to do, brother.
No, well, no. Out of them three, I mean, all three. Gaimon and Sarfunkel inside Laboon would be nice. No, I think
Pause.
it's an interesting like what character to have at the beginning of the stream. Like Laboon probably is one of the most Straw Hat, non-Straw Hats in the entire story, if not the most. So I don't know. I think we're going to see him at Laugh Tale, and I think it's going to be popping. So I would count him in. Maybe not 10, but 10 and a half.
Yeah.
But
Grand
what's
Fleet kind of thing.
yeah? But
But
what's
what's
your
yours?
pick?
Oh man, I wasn't ready to go straight off the bat. Okay, cool. Well, this might be a little controversial, but I think it might be someone that we haven't met yet.
Okay, so
Wow,
uh,
hot take apparently.
no, I somebody put that in the chat earlier. I think it was Keeper, and I could see, like, the way that I see it is that, like, arc after arc, Oda has introduced these very, like, gelling characters that are, like, they cohere with, like, the Straw Hat mentality and the vibe, and they sail along with the crew for a whole arc or even a whole saga and things like that. And I think it's hilarious that, like, we have so many strong candidates, even though some people think there's only one strong candidate in the chat. But I think that it's really funny that, like, every arc we get, like, these candidates, like, everybody's thinking right now for 2 individuals from the current arc, if not 3. And I think that Oda's trolling at this point. And if we get in the next arc, like if we go to Elbath right after this or something, if we get like somebody who we think gels really well and, you know, is, you know, vibing, has a dream, and, you know, has all of the checks all the boxes for Straw Hat candidate and things like that, that Oda's just gonna pull the rug right from underneath us, like he has done so many times before. I think it's interesting though. It'd be so funny if none of the people we talked about this whole stream actually end up being that person, and it is a brand new character. I think that'd be funny.
Yeah, I think it's very in the wheelhouse of what Oda does, right? Like, here's all of these possible candidates. You could do a whole stream about possible candidates, but it's actually just that kid from Elbath Shake was talking to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like things like that. Like we've been talking about Bonnie being the cabin girl, which we'll get to her later, I'm sure. But like, what if it's just that giant kid and he's the cabin boy of the Straw Hat Pirates?
Yo, Josh,
That'd be
Josh, I'm gonna
wild.
remember
I
you
think
said that.
the-
Josh, I love you so much for what you said. That's hilarious. But we'll address that momentarily. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The obviously, I'm not sure if we want to get into it now, but the Vivi thing is a question in itself. Like, will Vivi be a member of the Straw Hats, or will she be?
Here's
When
one.
it comes back to Joy Boy's crew, was Lily a part of the original pirates, or was it like an extension, like a halfway point between the Celestials and the pirates? So I'm
But, you know,
interested in finding that out. But
Vivi is a member
Sorry,
of the
go
Straw Hats. She's just her role is to
This
stay
is
in
facts.
Alabasta. Yeah,
But
but
I
she's a
mean,
member.
we know we have two
Yeah, but
people in
we're
the call
talking
here
about
who think
seafaring.
that, and then Dak did use his membership post earlier to say that exactly. It seems like we will be talking about Vivi in much more length. So stay tuned,
Yep.
guys.
mate, she gives everyone more length. Like,
Hey, yo.
But no, for real though, the five head. No, Vivi's interesting. It, like I say, like at first, like at one point, and I've looked into Vivi a fair bit. I got a few vids on Vivi. Like I really thought that she is legit the final Straw Hat, will be on the crew. Particularly even after the Wano stuff, where like Luffy was like, "We're going back," and they're all like, "No, we're not." But now,
Yeah.
the more we see about Lily, the more I think, yeah, she might play a different part. You know, like you said earlier, like she's on the crew by extension rather than actually on the crew. Part of the ship, part of the crew, that sort of crew.
Okay. Yeah, I would see it. So, I'm sorry. What was your answer? Was it Vivi or was it Vivi or who was
No
it?
one. It was someone we don't know.
Or a
Someone
new
we don't
character.
know.
Okay, so
Yeah, new character. Yeah.
well then, yeah, interesting. And I like I said, I think that'd be hilarious if it was a brand new character. And for like 1,000+ chapters, we were just like believing it was gonna be this person, this person, this person, and it ended up being none of those people. Really interesting topic. Unfortunately, because we haven't met them, though, there's not necessarily any individuals that like we can speak of within the story to really predict. But it would be really cool to get a giant on the crew if we do go to Elbaf next. I think that'd be really interesting. Like I know we have like an honorary,
Yo.
we have an honorary giant, but I think it'd be really cool to get
Yeah.
like a legit giant woman. You know what I mean?
Real quick, I got to shout out musician of.
Add that on the
All
end.
I want to do is see you turn into a giant woman, a
Yeah.
giant woman.
Yeah.
He understood the assignment.
But real quick,
He gets
shouting out the musician of the last arc, Mr. Joshua Vykthor in the chat. He just thought of something. What if the will of D, right, like that's been passed down, was Joy Boy's X moment with like Vivi and Lily?
Huge. Oh man.
Huge, dude. That is. It was a smile all along.
I love that.
Dude,
Yeah,
you
that's
put them
that's
together and
poetic.
get XD.
Rar.
that's
Now, so next up we have
Rawr.
Kube, the historian of the last arc. What would be who's your first pick for the 10th and final crew member of the Straw Hats?
Well, okay. Well, my first pick is Saint J. Garcia. No, I'm just kidding. So
I'll
my first
remove
pick
you
is
from the
someone
call.
my first pick is, and I want to go because obviously everyone would probably go. I would go with Sabo. But I went for a different angle with someone who should be back in the story, and doesn't like take him away from something else in the Blue Sea. And there's one guy, my guy from Shandora, Wiper. I feel like Wiper should be able to travel the Straw Hat in the Blue Sea and actually have his Odin, go back to Shandora
Ooh.
because he was an interesting guy. And Vex did remind me before stream that he took impact dials, the Gora Blast, like a champ. So he is, he is him as well. I think Wiper. Yeah, that's interesting angle of him being in the White Sea. He's like
Listen, I
really
was
a new
gonna-
player.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, nah, but then you said like Odin, and I was like, oh, because if we're all expecting like someone from Wano to be the Odin of the Straw Hat crew, and then it's a reverse, it's someone from Skypiea, like, oh, I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I
Like
think
that
it'd be
alabaster,
really
like instead of getting Vivi, you get Kozu or something. Kozu.
I think it's really interesting if we do get Wiper, is that like if he brought, you know, the squad and it was another way of bringing Isa back into the story, like the main story, which we just saw her in reaction piece specifically while somebody was, you know, talking about an ancient weapon, and like obviously those are going to be important. So I think that it'd be really, really interesting if we did get Isa back into the story through like the avenue of Wiper. Like dude was a unit. Dude was a force of nature.
Yes, he was.
He single-handedly,
Here, right?
yeah, he palmed Zoro
a straw
and
hat, he's
Sanji
probably
simultaneously.
If he's a straw hat, or will be a straw hat, it means he's a D member, and he can't be a D member because his name's Wiper, which means his name would be Diaper, and I don't think Oda's going to allow that. So
first of all, there are non D members on the Straw Hat crew, but that's hilarious. But I would love that. Dude literally survived an impact dial, like, and a reject dial, and like had a bazooka, which is like such a cool like and dials we were talking about earlier, Cube. I think dials are such a slept on weapon tech that need to come back. Yeah. So that'd be great, especially if if NL comes back. It'd be so cool to see like another showdown of NL and Wiper. You know what I mean? Like wait, all these years later. And
I do want to say that because I've been hearing people lately saying that the Straw Hats will all be known as D-Clan members. I'm pretty sure Chopper is going to be very hard to prove to us that Chopper is a D-Clan because of the D-Clan family. just to putting that out there.
Rain D-Ear? Come on now, Cube. It's right there.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. But yeah, so yeah, that's my pick, Wiper. I want to see what the people in the chat say. I'm going to start judging you. If you like the goat or not.
I think it just the main thing that would be really hilarious to me is it would show all of the, like, you know, there's like a whole bunch of people who are like skip Skypiea, and all of those people would be exposed because they'd be like, who is this guy? And like I think that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, who's this guy? Yeah,
like I don't remember him.
What do
like,
you mean?
And and the other point is
character?
Oh my god.
And I feel like Wiper, with how the state of things is happening, don't forget the culture of Sanganika was very relevant in the Skylands, you know. So I feel like he's also like it would be perfect timing, you know, someone who naturally understands those stuff, and like Sanji explained the Nolan stories, like because he was from the North Blue, maybe Wiper might even give some culture explanation. Something that he grew up in that way.
That's huge. I like that. Real quick, we got a super chat from Nak D, the goat himself, with $6.99 in Monopoly money, who said, sorry I'm late, please accept my humble apology. And he put 5 goats emojis in here. I love that because we got 5 goats on the call. You're goated as well, Nak. You're not late. We appreciate you. But no, I really do. Early. Yeah, that's what it was.
Wizard arrives exactly when he means to.
Exactly, you get it. But Nak is one of the all-time goats, always cooking in the TLA Discord. Make sure you guys click that link in the description if you want to be a part of the discussion. I'm sure he's got a lot to say about some of the things that we've been talking about and we'll talk about shortly. I really like Wiper though, as like a sleeper candidate. You know what I mean? Like I think that would be really cool, and obviously the significance of Skypiea in general has become like so much more retroactively in the fold since like the build up and hype in Wano and stuff like that. I think it'll only become more important and paralleled and referred to in Elbaf, where we're going next. And I've heard a lot of theories about what could all happen there and stuff like that, and I think it would be really, really cool if we did get a return of some of those characters. So we've heard about the summit of High West, and we don't know where that is, but that's like apparently the easy way to get to the White Sea, and taking the knock-up stream is like the ridiculously hard, obscure way of getting up to the White Sea. And what if the big giant ass tree at Elbaf somehow connects, like its canopy is intertwined with like the White Sea in some way, and that's where we have the summit of High West. I think that would be really cool. That's been something that's been speculated upon by many people.
Could you imagine the first battle of the final war? It's on Elbaf, and like all of a sudden, if that tree does connect to the White Sea, like we just see Wiper skating down with his bazooka, ready to mess everything up. Like I'd be here for it, dude. That would
Yeah,
be
dude.
so peak.
We need Dials back in the story because
Yeah.
it's so slept on. It's crazy.
Josh,
Especially if
hold
Wiper
on, Josh.
has got hockey.
It is literally Monopoly money, like Dak is saying. They're called like loonies and toonies. Like, okay, like
Yeah.
like it's. I'm sorry, no disrespect. You know, one of my best friends is Canadian, but they know it. But yeah, I like the ties to Skypiea and Elbaf, and I've heard a lot of different potential parallels, and I can't wait to see them. But we have to stay on Egghead for 4 more chapters because I need to cross that off of my bingo card.
Good luck, man. Good luck. Honestly,
bingo
really good
piece. Bingo piece. But
me hoping Saturn's dead after that hit, like so I can cross it off my bingo card.
oh my goodness. Wild. Yeah, if anybody in the chat has anything that they wanted to say, or anybody still here in the call would like to speak any more on Wiper, very interesting pick, Kube. I like where your head's at, and honestly, I wouldn't even be mad. I'd love to see it.
It's very cool.
We need more
Very
Wiper.
cool
We need
one.
more Wiper in our life, in the story of One Piece. We need more Wiper in the story of One Piece.
Yeah, I bet you
There
do
is a
like
fishman
more.
on the crew as well. But
We have an honorary
is it
giant
not
and a
possible that
fishman.
Nami,
Go ahead.
isn't it possible that Nami is from the Skylands as well?
Well, there's
It is,
definitely
yeah.
some sort of there's definitely a connection because they did send her the only one who sent her to during her time skip in the Skyland for some reason.
With Area.
So
yeah.
there's definitely something.
I just think it's really
Vex, I believe
cool.
that leaves you.
Yeah. One last thing is I just think it'd be really cool if we had a Straw Hat that just used a freaking fire bazooka. Like that'd be so cool.
Yeah, well, he's the artillery of the Straw Hat crew. Like,
As far as my
Artillerist?
pick, this is kind of like an alternate reality pick, and this is something that I've never been able to abandon in my mind, and it has not aged well as a take, but I will never let it go. And it's something that I will be chanting until many, many, many years after the story has already done, and we probably get an epilogue, and I'm gonna be dying on that hill, forever pushing the goalpost, and always making the case for it. No, it is Polly for Straw Hat. I know we already have a shipwright, and I know he doesn't necessarily have like a Straw Hat like dream, and he has so many reasons to stay where he's at, but I don't care. Polly for Straw Hat, he's him. He was the shipwright I thought we were gonna get before I ended up, learning more about Frankie and falling in love with his whole shtick. But like, I think that, yeah, Polly for Straw Hat.
Yeah,
I will never stop yelling at the clouds, about this and shaking my fist to the sky. Polly deserved to come along with the crew.
Yeah, no, I said this to you as well, that on my first watch through of Water 7, before like all the stuff happened with Frankie and everything, I was like, I thought Polly was gonna be it. Like when they got there and I saw Polly and like the way he used ropes and stuff, I was like, that guy's definitely the Straw Hat shipwright. Like, and then he did it, and I was happy because Frankie is my second favorite Straw Hat. But like, I do agree that like, I think Polly would have been a really good fit for the Straw Hats. Shout out real quick, €5 or €5 super chat from Mr. Bushido. What role do these guys bring to the crew? The role is just as important as the character. I agree with that. Kara is set up as the lookout, for example. Robin also acts as the lookout. A lot of her time is shown to be in that, what is that called? The mask?
The question is not to debunk
mask?
Carrot's role. It's to provide roles for those that we've already talked about.
For me.
But like, I think that Kinemon was the advisor for a literal daimyo and future shogun, and now a shogun, and Vivi is also like running a country, and things like we have diplomat candidates, and that's just as much of a role, arguably a lot more important of a role than a lookout. But as far as some of the other characters, I'm not sure if Wiper or Gaimon necessarily provide a role. Laboon is obviously a ship. He's a whole ass ship.
No, like,
that's his role.
Wiper could be a tactician, though. Like he waged war against the Skypians for a long time, so he could be a tactician. As far as Gaimon, obviously he is the comic relief. Same with Sarfunkel. Like it, and then Kinemon, it's harder to place.
He's
like,
an advisor.
because,
He's the same boat as Vivi.
Oh yeah, he could actually. Yeah,
he's literally in the same boat as
advisor.
Vivi. He
What
just
about-
has less of a position of power, but just as much more wisdom, I would say.
yeah.
What about Puddin?
Ooh.
Well, we're gonna get to that. That could be your next pick if you'd like. But right now we're talking about Polly.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
yeah. Glow him up.
I just think that Polly is something that, like, when I was first watching through, and this was at the point where, like, I talked about it in a previous stream, this was where I was 100% bought in that this show, because I was anime only at this point, was within my top 5. And I was about to get to the point where I was like, this is peak and it's top 1. Like, I was so invested and I was binging through like all of Water 7, and Frankie was painted as a bad guy at first, and there was so much like tumult within the crew, and like we had these like Robin mysteries, and then Usopp and Luffy were fighting and stuff like that. But Polly was not only a very utility person who was very good at what he did, had managerial skills, had a funny recurring gag, the whole immoral woman thing. I love it. It's hilarious. And then rope action is such a cool and slept on fighting style that I love it. And I've actually like worked on implementing it into several D&D characters and stuff like that, because I do One Piece D&D, and I just think it's like there's so much about Polly that is so freaking cool. And I think it'd be really cool if he were just given a little bit more oomph in like the dream aspect. I think he would have been a perfect fit. Obviously, Frankie is a great shipwright, and I love Frankie, and I love his recurring gags and everything that he has contributed to the story and his dream and his role and things like that. I'm not downplaying Frankie whatsoever. I just really think Polly would have been such a gas choice as well, and I never thought that more than when Frankie was still being painted as a bad guy who we didn't really know anything about.
Yeah.
But I've never stopped thinking it, even though we have had such a long stretch with Frankie and realized how great he is.
Who would you rather be on the Straw Hats, Frankie or Paulie?
Frankie all day.
Honestly,
yeah, but I'm asking Vex.
Lucas is gonna hate me. I would say Polly. I mean, Frankie can still be a part of the story, and like I think Frankie would probably contribute more to Iceberg in converting Water 7 into a ship that could then circumvent the world, and he can accomplish his dream not solely with the Straw Hats.
This is probably one of the hottest TLA takes I've ever heard, ever, and particularly that little defense afterwards as well. Frankie's not even needed. We could just.
I stand on business. I absolutely stand on business about it. Like,
I mean, and also the reason why I don't think it would be a problem of having Polly join if we by having Frankie as well, because as the team is growing bigger and bigger, I do feel like Frankie is needed elsewhere, and I feel like it would be good that Frankie could be able to go could go elsewhere, and while Polly does the need to do to help the ships repair, you know, because Frankie is not just the shipwright; he's also like the engineer of the crew, right? So I do feel like Polly being 100% a shipwright. Let's say there's a situation where Frankie is somewhere else, but the ship they need to bring the ship. It doesn't happen to the ship. Polly could be the one to fix it up, you know, to separate the tasks. Because we see that a lot of the big Yonko crews, they don't have just one person for everything. They have other people who have similar role, less important, less responsibility, but they can, you know, separate the tasks.
yeah, I think the craziest thing is that like Frankie would literally be more properly utilized if he were still at Water 7 as far as accomplishing his best friend, the other person who inherited Tom's will, as like in accomplishing like that, which would save an entire civilization that has constantly had to build on top of itself for centuries to not be erased. Like Water 7 has like there's so much purpose that holds Frankie there, more so a purpose that holds him there than what holds Polly there, because Polly just has a job. He just has a day job there. But like you know what I'm saying? Like, so in an alternate reality, I could see this making so much sense because we got what we got, and I'm happy with what we got. Obviously, we're not going to get Polly as a Straw Hat, but this is like my fantasy headcanon land where I believe he should have been one.
Yeah.
On Jersey Shore, isn't that dude called Paulie D?
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
that's
Declan confirmed.
Said. He said, yeah,
That's
Declan
my,
confirmed.
You didn't see my comment in the chat? I said that Polly has a Willow D. His name is Polly D. He
That's
hails from the West Blue
hilarious.
from an island called Jersey Shore.
Jersey
Shore.
Gym tan laundry all day, baby. Like,
Yeah, I gotta shout out Dez real quick. Dez in chat straight said Polly has a rope kink, but can't do anything about it because he blushes too much around females.
bro, that could be part of his dream. Part of his dream could be to meet. No. Hear me out. Let me cook. It's to meet an actual moral woman instead of all these immoral women. You know what I mean? And he's in the world built by Oda. That is a challenge. You know what I mean? Like, dude, accomplishing that is challenge. Like,
it's what the rope means on the One Piece logo. Like,
oh
that
my
is
goodness.
Exactly.
See, if the writing,
Polly's coming.
the writing's been on the wall. Pause.
So, guys, we kind of have a special moment now in TLA. We've got our Doflamingo bounty moment with Keeper, who said that he believes Damara Black should be the next Straw Hat, the 10th Straw Hat. I'm putting a 5-star bounty. I'm putting a 5-star bounty on Ragnarok Keeper.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. You get choppers after you
Keeps.
do that stuff in GTA.
Keeps. Bad take there, Keeps.
If you guys want to find him, the easiest place to find him is in the TLA Discord. Link in the description. Shameless plug.
Yes,
but
It's Ragnarok.
I was Ragnarok, not Keeper. It was Ragnarok. Sorry, Ragnarok gets a 5-star,
That's
not
the same
Keeper.
person. The sixth.
It's
That's
the
the
same
person.
person.
Dude, it drives me crazy. Those double titles. The double titles drive me crazy sometimes.
But no, yeah, man, I was born to shamelessly plug the Discord. Sorry, that was. I'm glad. Let me toot my own horn. That was good. This is gonna conclude. This is gonna conclude my take. I think we've spoken about Polly in plenty of length, and he's the GOAT. Polly for Nakama. I'll never stop saying it. That brings us. Oh, we've gone around a full rotation, so it brings us back to our captain, the lovely Straw Hat Lucas. Who's your next pick for the 10th and final crew member of the Straw Hats?
Oh, Straw Chan! It's
Hell yeah, bro.
Let's be real, bro. Let's be real.
I don't think there's going to be any contrast to this point, Lucas.
No.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All of us are in agreement.
The thing is, he could fill any role. He could literally fill any role in the crew because he could just. Yeah, like it's perfect. I love it.
Well, actually, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
He was there for Luffy when no one else was, legitimately.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, yes, there were the other people inside Impel Down and whatnot, but like when Luffy was literally about to die because of Magellan's poison, who was it that stood outside of his door for 13 hours straight, screaming until his voice went hoarse?
Hang in there.
Hang in there, Mr. Bon Clay.
Lucas,
they are dead. Let's go.
I mean, for the Straw Hats' defense, they were kind of separated. I'm just kidding.
Oh my goodness.
So what I was going to bring up is that we literally have both Luffy and Bon Clay respectively risking their own lives to save the other one. We had Luffy with Bon Clay hurt on his back, and Luffy saved him from the wolves.
Exactly.
Bon Clay was the only reason Luffy was able to be safe after that.
This is getting into like theory territory, but I legitimately believe the Mani Mani no Mi is tied to Joy Boy. Because think about it, Kaido felled Joy Boy. The Mani Mani no Mi showed up in what flashback? Kaido coming to power. Let's go.
Interesting. Real quick, we have Mr. Bushido 56 with yet another €2. Thank you so much, brother. He said, "Smoker for Straw Hat, Marine turned pirate." I will absolutely speak. I will speak on that in much length, I'm sure, at one point. But yeah, that is a huge take. As far as Bonchan, I think this the same argument as Vivi. He's already been a Straw Hat.
Yeah.
Because he's been several Straw Hats. He was Nami when he flashed his tatas. He was Sanji and Usopp. He's been Straw Hats, multiple Straw Hats, right?
He even was honorary whenever he sailed off to distract the Marines from the other Straw Hats. They cried when he left.
Yeah, no,
his friends.
Yeah, I love Bonchan, and I think that there's so many with his actions outside of that one scene where he shapeshifted into several Straw Hats. There is a solid case, but the thing is, he's literally already been a Straw Hat because he just shape changed into them. You know what I mean?
So same,
Like,
same argument as VV and
same
Laboon
argument,
is that, like,
absolutely,
basically,
yeah.
yeah.
Indisputable. It's solid. It's airtight. You know, but
It is.
and like
Well, we
having
gotta
like
build it up, Bushido. That's why we teased him.
Oh yeah. But I think like, and like as far as his role, obviously he's the resident Nakama. He's the dancer. He's, you know, like he can literally he could fit any role though, like realistically with his devil fruit. It's a crazy like an infiltrator squad. We already have Sanji who, you know, as like Mr.
The
Prince
rogue.
was like really good, but like and Robin can like be espionage and surveillance with her fruit being super sneaky, but this dude can like literally be anybody. So he could fit like a really, really solid role in almost any capacity. And as far as his dream, he wants to see Luffy succeed. He wants to, you know, he literally like put his life in jeopardy multiple times, and like to see Straw Hat succeed. Calls him a dear friend. And I think that along the same vein as Ivankov and a lot of the other Nakama at Kamabaka Queendom and at the new Kama Queendom, it's like they want to see a more beautiful and free world, and they believe and specifically specifically Bonchan believes that Luffy could provide that, and I think that that's a huge wonderful candidate, absolutely. And I'm so glad you got to say it, because I know that's your boy.
As the man who played Bon Clay, exactly. Yeah, Bon Clay is one of my favorite side characters. I did not get to put him on my favorite character list because someone else trumped him. You have to check out the stream Wednesday to see who that was. But nonetheless, like he's got it, right? Like he's got that spirit. I don't think any of you disagree with me that if he showed up and it was like, this is the new crew member, everyone in the world would scream. Everyone would be excited. I mean, except for Bushido. But
Lucas, I'm just curious how you know that Bon plays.
Yeah. Oh yeah, true.
Bonchan could just turn into Carrot, and then boom, Carrot would finally be a part of the crew.
Well, he'd have to touch her, which means that they would have to go back to Zoe, unfortunately.
I mean, Zoe could come to them.
Back to Cube before I
yeah, go ahead, Cube. Yeah, sorry.
No, I was just wondering what he meant by Bon Clay's got it, Lucas. What do you mean by it? Because that's very sus. The way you said it.
He's got it and he can get it, if that's what you're saying.
He's him.
Them.
He's him. He's her. He's they. He's them. He's everyone.
He's the pronoun. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has any pushback on this. Yeah, like but wonderful pick. Which I feel like there's like full character analysis of Bonchan. Like I'm sure there's plenty of them, and we could speak on so many levels about what they can provide to the crew and what their dream could be and how they could be reunited. And with Impel Down being shown very recently with the Magellan and Doflamingo conversation, I mean, obviously, who knows? You know, this is actually possible in the near future that we could get something like this. So wonderful pick.
Oh yeah.
Which
thank you.
Brings us to the next person in rotation. We are back to Den Kushi. Who else you got for the 10th and final crew member?
He said pudding earlier, and I really wanted to see. Yeah.
Wait.
Yes,
so what? Do I just put another one out? Okay. I'm starting to get the gist of what we're doing now. Okay.
Yeah.
In that
He
case,
missed the pep talk before stream.
I'm very proud in that case because I get to say who's who, and the reason why is because I've always like who's who. Wait, we're talking about the Straw Hats, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. Right, because like who's who, right? He has deep, he has ties to like the world government through like generation by generation through like, well, assumably through like these figures that we see that look really similar to him, right? And here's one that you might not have heard before, right? Is Groose is my favorite Marine. And Groose looks just like who's who. The more I look at it, the more I'm starting to remember, right? Anyway, who's who had all that contact with the Nika stuff, Impel Down, got out. But ever since we met who's who, I've just always had this like image that I've been hungry for of just a huge cat on the back of the Sunny, and it's just like as the Sunny goes along, there's just this massive
Like bathing in the sun.
yeah, like he does in his harem, exactly, bathing.
I think it'd be so funny if he
Yeah,
joins
I would
up and he is a little bit rowdy, you know, like when Zoro and Sanji are like going at each other's throats, but it's like with Jinbei and Jinbei just uses fishman karate. It's like when you spray a cat with a water bottle. No, it's like when you spray a cat with a water bottle. Like
Jinbei opens a scroll. Who's flinching? Like,
oh my goodness. I
Just
don't
about
see
getting
any reason why he would join, but I mean, I get the Nika ties. Like, absolutely. Very interesting
I
pick.
like it. I'm not gonna lie.
So
Very interesting. Yeah. Like it would be cool to see him be the one to exposit Luffy that like he's Nika, like it would be crazy, man.
He doesn't need to expose himself, but yeah, the rest
Exactly.
of the information would be.
I mean, can
handy.
he
And
though?
also, he's got
For me-
loads of
Oh my god. Josh in the chat, the musician of the last arc, just said, bro really wants another racist on the crew. That's hilarious.
I mean, already taken.
I would acknowledge that. I would acknowledge the comment. He's from Romania, so.
I wouldn't acknowledge that comment, but he's from Romania as
Yo,
wild.
Josh has been cooking in the chat. Like, you've all been cooking in the chat, but that's, oh my goodness. I thought that was my role. I thought I was the cook, but what would whose role be while we're speaking on that? If he were to somehow ally with
Robin's an assassin. Right? So,
yeah, I mean Robin and Zoro both kind of meet that.
Chopper's already the pet.
Or Intel, think about it. He has a
He said
Rokushiki
pet?
style. He would be perfect.
Oh, dude, that'd be hilarious.
But he would actually, you know, there's actually a role for the Straw Hat that they all try to do, but they're not the best for it, and he would be the best. Infiltration. Think about it. He has a Rokushiki style. That's such an advantage.
Intelligence. He could be the intelligence officer of the Straw Hat crew. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and that, like, think of it. Like, every Straw Hat do have some of the 6 styles, right? The Rokushiki, but none of them have like. I mean, Luffy. Luffy is the closest character to see to have something similar to all the 6 styles. But that would be an advantage, you know. Someone who
I think it's really.
And, I mean, he's pretty much got. He's got the same backstory as Luffy, right? He got screwed by Shanks and then was like, "Yeah, let's get it." So that's just pure straw.
No, I think that it's really interesting. He would offer a very specific brand of acquired knowledge that none of them necessarily have, being that he has worked under the thumb of the world government for at least, I think, like 12 years, right? Or something like that. So
yeah, at least 13 years ago. 13 years ago, he was on the ship of Cypherpole. So yeah, at least 13 years.
Not only the knowledge of Nika, yeah, but not only the like the intel on Nika, which is more esoteric, but like the inside operations of not just the Marines, but the world government at large, which is an umbrella corporation. Well, not Resident Evil sponsored, sorry guys, but it's a blanket term that covers the Marines as well as Cypherpole. The world government is bigger than just the Marines, and so knowing about those things, you know, would be really, really interesting, I think.
Knack in chat said his role would be fish bait.
Oh my goodness.
I wanted to bring this up this whole time is y'all were talking about what role would he fill. We need someone to betray Luffy, bro.
Okay.
Like, think about it.
It's Zoro. Zoro betrays Luffy, though.
I mean, alternatively.
No!
But, so with Luffy, he's hated Luffy just for the fact that Luffy ate the fruit because of Shanks. Because he hates Shanks, because Shanks got him fired from Cypherpole and thrown in prison in Marie Joie, more than likely. He hates Luffy just because he has the fruit. So I don't, in my head, it would only be as a person. Yes, he would give up that information, but as soon as it became time, he would go try and hand over Luffy's head to be like, hey, put me back in Cypherpole Zero. I brought you the person you're looking for.
You see, I could actually see that playing out a little bit, but like the only reason I could see it playing out is in the shadow of Rob Lucci, because at the beginning of Egghead arc, when Rob Lucci was incapacitated and they were just like, hey, uncuff us, we're chill, we're not gonna start shit and stuff like that. Like, I was thinking that would be Rob Lucci's role, in this specific arc. And so if I thought it was possible for Rob Lucci, obviously I think that there's a way where it can be contextualized within a different arc, not this arc, because we only have 4 more chapters of Egghead for my bingo card. But you know, I think it's possible that we could see that. We could see that, and I see what you're saying, absolutely. But
I'm gonna say
I don't
this.
think it's plausible, you know.
Yeah,
If who
that's what I'm
joins
saying.
the
I don't
Straw
think
Hats,
it's possible he joins, but if he does, that'd be the only role I could see him filling.
What's that, Cube?
if he joins the Straw Hat and betrays Luffy, all that Who's gonna manage is gonna anger. He's gonna go Gear 5 and turn him into Garfield.
Oh my goodness. No.
That's all I see. That's all I
put
see.
it in the chat, and the only role he fills is a sushi roll.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. But very interesting pick, Den. I'm not sure if you understood the assignment, but I like where your head's at.
I think he did. I think he understood it.
He did. That's a good one.
Perfectly understood the assignment. He
Oh
was
my
like, you
goodness.
know, think about all this information they'd get. Think about like he could have the rivalry dynamic with Jinbei, like Sanji and Zoro have. He was cooking on it.
We could actually even get the lore of the Cypherpole in a much better way. If we get a backstory of, if he joins the crew, we get some sort of backstory. We can understand what Gertica meant about envying X-Drake's freedom.
Yep.
You know, what does he really mean by that? It's
He envied his justice, not just his freedom.
Yeah, it's justice and freedom. You know, so like, yeah, that's a really interesting take that never thought of too. Honestly.
Wonderful.
I don't think any of us did, Cube.
I've seen a lot of folks mentioning some individuals in the chat. We will absolutely make sure we get to some of those takes. I'm sure they'll pop up. We have many more candidates along in the rotation, but next up is going to be NoChillDill, the frontline combatant.
Shout out Star Knight.
Yeah, shout out to Andy Lex.
Shout out Andy Lex.
I was also going to shout him out. Shout out Andy in the chat. He's also a part of the Nothing Happened podcast.
Yes.
But I am going to bring up my mention. To me, it doesn't seem like a part of the crew mention, more so of part of the Grand Fleet, and it's Katakuri. Because exactly how Katakuri stands up for his siblings, that's what he saw with Luffy standing up for his crew. By breaking the mirror, the transportation to his crew, and himself trapping himself in there with Katakuri in enemy territory, all to have his crew escape enemy territory safely.
That's really interesting.
Dill, I could kiss you right now because I've been saying that for a minute. I think Katakuri will take over the Big Mom Pirates if Big Mom is really out of the game. Like him and Perospero will fight for him, and then he'll join the Grand Fleet, basically.
I think it splits. Like half the crew still follow that dynamic of, oh, this brother is the one I look up to, or this brother. So it's going to be almost a half and half split of Big Mom's siblings, and the half that's with Katakuri will be Grand Fleet. The half that's with Perospero will be against Katakuri's side. So it's Big Mom's family fighting each other because she wanted to have all this unity
civil
of
war
her entire family. Yeah, she wanted to have a family with every race, but even that won't help the fact of if they're on opposite sides, they'll still fight each other.
Exactly. I like that a lot. What if it's 3-way split and Smoothie's in there as well, and then Smoothie can split me?
All the 3 sweet commanders are rival factions. Ooh.
So I just have one. If that happens, and Dill is right about that that civil war in the family. The only casualty, if there's only one casualty, it has to be Flomp. I'm sorry. She's got to go. Yeah, I'm bringing that. She's going
to try and do some underhanded stuff in Perospero and Katakuri's fight, and Katakuri just mochi arm sticks her.
She'll get what Ash Ketchum got in the Pokemon first movie treatment of Mewtwo and Mew. Turn into stone with Hockey Blast. But she needs to go.
Just an innocent bystander getting.
Wait, isn't her name Flumpay? And does that mean something in French? Aren't you francophone, Cube? Like,
oh yeah, for the flambe, it just means flamed.
No, not flambe. No, not flambe. Flumpay, I think is her name. Which
flambe.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it must be just the.
Enchanté. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, enchanté. That's what I heard when he said it. What does it mean, Cube? Sorry.
Actually, I'm gonna look because it must be a dessert. I just don't know that dessert.
That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking. It's like with Big Mom, all of her children are like named after sweets or are resembling sweets in some way.
But yeah, Kuso, good to see you in here as well. I put a list of the people who have been brought up in the chat. So far, we've gone over loosely Gaimon, and then we've gone over Kinemon, Laboon, a new character who we haven't met yet, Wiper, Polly, Bon Clay, Who's Who, and now we're on Katakuri. But yeah, as far as Katakuri goes, I think that'd be really, really great. I put him somewhere on my list for the Wednesday stream, which again, I'm not going to really be a part of, but you guys definitely make sure you show up on that stream where we talk about our favorite characters. And join the Discord if you want to be a part of the discussion. We just posted about that today in announcements, so you can provide your own list, and maybe whoever's on the stream is going to go over those. I really love Katakuri. I am so upset of how many dissenters have put him on Fraud Watch recently, because I'm just adamantly against Fraud Watch, but I especially would never put my boy Katakuri there. I think that it'd be really great for him to come back into the story. I think he's absolutely Grand Fleet material. If he is like trying to be on the crew, I just don't see him gelling well with everybody. He had like that relationship with Luffy. I don't even think he spoke with anybody else on the crew other than Sanji. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I want him on the crew, but I absolutely respect your take on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I don't even see him a part of the crew, just because he wouldn't fill any of the roles. Like, yeah, he's got knowledge about hockey. It wouldn't be beneficial in this late stage just to have him show up for like not even 2 full months, like a month and a half, just to talk with the crew. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it makes more sense to me for him to be Grand Fleet, just to show up to be like, hey, I respected you as a captain. I'm willing to follow you because of your beliefs.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's why I could see him like
I'm willing to go to
helming.
war with you, kind of thing.
I think I could see him helming like a whole section of the Grand Fleet. But I don't know if I see him being an actual part of like the Thousand Sunny, like the crew proper. You know what I mean?
I still think Usopp's going to be the one to helm the entire Grand Fleet, because he leads 5,000 men.
Yeah, Captain Usopp.
Captain
Hell
Usopp.
God
yeah.
Usopp. No, God Usopp. God Usopp.
He has
Don
to become
Usopp.
the brave warrior of the
God
sea
Captain
first.
Usopp. Nah, he's already a brave hero of the sea.
He can't reach the God rank because he didn't say that lie. Someone else said that lie about him. But he himself said Captain Usopp, who leads 5,000 men. And then later on, it became 500,000 men. So with Grand Fleet behind him, he has 500,000 men.
But I see Katakuri, to bring it back into that conversation, like I see him like leading, like I think it's really interesting if we did get like splinter like sections from each individual like territory that they'd visited in the New World proper, and even some like from before time skip. And I think that like the Toto Land like faction that would help out, like if there is like Toto Land civil war between like Katakuri and Perospero and stuff like that, the individuals that were Katakuri aligned would absolutely still be Straw Hat aligned, and I would love to see him. Bushido with another €2 super chat says that he has a Katakuri theory on Discord coming soon, so make sure you guys check out the link in the description and join to see that. Punk Records is getting full in the Discord. We love to see it.
Yes, it is. That's why I gotta do a video on it, man. Like,
hell yeah.
Katakuri dies and Carrot gets his fruit.
Oh my goodness, stop. So does anybody else have anything that they wanted to...
I know him.
Yeah, I think like what you said earlier is like he does know things about hockey. It'd be so cool if he were to be able to teach some of the non-confirmed hockey users on the crew how to utilize armament and observation hockey to at least the point where he's at.
Level.
Yeah, like even at like a base level, but like for people who are already at base level, if he could step them up to intermediate, it would be really, really cool. And like I think that would be so cool as well. Like if somehow the Straw Hats did get separated again, like Saba Odi, and like a few of them were just ending up in their training arc, like battleship bags in it with Katakuri, that'd be so cool. I'd love to see that. I don't know how it happens within the confines of the story right now, but I would love to see it. It's really cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah, if nobody else has anything else to say about Katakuri, definitely join the Discord so you can see Bushido's theory coming soon. But that brings us to Cube of the Red Sea. Who is your next pick for Nakama?
So obviously, since no one picked it, but we did talk about it, about the people Wano have to be connected to Luffy, and we've talked about Momo and Kinemon. Also, I would love Momo to come back. I think he understands his obligation. They need a shogun, and so I think Yamato will go in the name of both Yamato and Momo, the two people who inherited Odin's will.
I think it's about to get spicy.
Yeah, it is.
So for me,
it's about to get spicy.
So for me, yeah, I had to bring it up. Yamato.
It's a bold take.
Love the introduction of the character. Yeah, I know it's a bold take, but yeah, and for me, it's been mentioned when Momo and Yamato spoke at one point about the journal. Yamato revealed that all the stuff about Lafta were removed, and since Momo and Yamato shared the will of Odin, and to finish what he done, I would see it in the story. Something will happen in the story. Yamato will be sent by Momo, contrary to Odin, who told Izo not to come with him, and Izo actually did not listen and followed him with Whitebeard. I think at this time the Shogun will make a decision and Yamato will listen. So that's how I see Yamato joining the crew.
So let me ask you a question then. So Odin, if it's reflecting Odin's journey, right? Because first Odin went around Yano, and that's what Yamato is doing right now. So if it's reflecting, who do you think Yamato's crew, whose crew he will join first? Because Yamato didn't directly join Roger's crew. He first traveled with Whitebeard. So
you mean Odin?
Who do you think? What did I say? Yamato?
Yeah.
Okay, Odin. Same thing. Odin traveled with Whitebeard first. So who do you think it is that Yamato's... Whose ship will Yamato get on to get out of Wano? Because I have a thought on it, but I want to hear yours for sure.
So I'm going to let you do my thought because someone's ringing at the door. I'll be back in 2 seconds. But I'm listening.
Oh, God. No, so my thought is I think it's going to be cross-guild. I think they'll go to Wano and not get in. But Yamato will meet them on the shore. Well, think about it. If any character really reflects the relationship between Roger and Whitebeard, it's Luffy and Buggy. Because, they butt heads and stuff. But, after that first fight, they really don't clash.
I love that. I absolutely love that, actually. And that'd be so interesting.
I 100% think that Yamato's cover story will end with her joining the Cross Guild.
That's wild.
His. Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. I think he will be getting on the Cross Guild ship.
Whatever goes down, I think that before Yamato ever meets back up with the Straw Hats and gets the chance to join up with them, if that ever does happen, which I'm not sure if I believe it, and I'll speak on that in more depth, but just to get this one take right out of the gate off my chest, is that there needs to be a lot more time that elapses before any of that happens, specifically so Sanji can get stronger, so he's not bumped down to number 5, instead of number 4.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Could Hitch a ride with Law or Kid? No, Law has been defeated and Kid is presumed dead at the moment.
I mean, it could still
like that now.
It could still happen.
It could still happen, yeah. Especially since we do know Law was saved. Beppo did save Law.
Yeah, I could see it happening if Beppo tried to return to Zhao, because Beppo was the one who mentioned that Minks will, if they're lost at sea, will always know which way to return to Zhao, and if they were going back that way and ended up at Wano or something, I could see it being like that, or there's so many different things that could happen in the story. But since you mentioned the Buggy and Luffy equals Whitebeard and Roger parallel, I just love that too much, so that's my preference, but it could go multiple ways. It could, yeah.
Actually, I do I was thinking long and hard, but I do like the Cross Guild one because If you remember back in the Odin flashback, Odin really connected very hardly with both Shanks and Buggy. So it would be Phil think that the person who inherited Odin's will somehow, there's this connection with Buggy, see something. And the whole discussion between Roger and Whitebeard was trying to convince Whitebeard to see his ways and to let Odin go with him. So it could be this thing of Yamato might actually see something redeemable in Buggy, like Odin saw those years ago. That Luffy, because Luffy till to this day sees him as an idiot.
Q,
They can't
you
be
just
trusted.
cooked, man. Because think about it. What was the last thing we saw with Buggy, really? Was him declaring that he was going for the One Piece. That big emotional speech about, he's going for it and stuff like that.
Well,
that's the redeeming quality right there, is that he's going for his dream.
but hold up, Buggy met Odin. They knew each other.
That as well.
That's like also something like they sailed on the same ship. Yeah, so I mean, like it would be so interesting if maybe there was something in Odin's journal about Buggy that like Yamato read and was just like, "Yo, this guy is cooking." Like I can ride that wave
because he stayed with Toki as well. Him and Toki were the two that got sick, so he would have said it was Toki, like and that weird kid Buggy who got sick.
I love this
exactly. Yeah,
that's the thing. It's the Odin flashback was brought to us through Yamato reading the journal to Momo. So it makes more sense that every character that we saw during that flashback was brought up by Odin.
Yeah.
At least in one point or another.
Yeah.
Wow.
And for those who remember that scene specifically, it was when Gabon and some of them still didn't open up to Odin, but Buggy and Shanks opened up to him, and they had that whole adventure. Remember in the village, in the town, where a grenade fell just underneath Odin, and they panicked for him.
Odin got blown up by a grenade, and they're like, "Oh no, he's gone!" And then he stands there, and he's like, "Oh, was that supposed to hurt me?"
He's like,
dude, Buggy would need to go to Wano to get one of the poneglyphs. Like that's the setup. Oh my god, this is brilliant.
The more we talk about it, the more I like it.
Able to read them.
But this is all we have to all remember, like the assignment of the stream. This is all a stepping stone to get Yamato onto the Straw Hat ship eventually.
Yeah,
which is a really interesting like leap from what I like what we've just established with the Buggy stuff, but to get that transitioned from like Buggy ship and Cross Guild and things like that to onto Luffy's ship proper. I think that like so many people have already made cases like throughout as long as I've been a part of the community and been caught up, everybody has either been like Carrot for Nakama or Yamato for Nakama and stuff like that. And like I've seen like so many people like divisions of the fan base, like butting heads with each other and making their cases. Obviously there's a case for Yamato for Straw Hat, but specifically how do we frame that?
He got sick at the same time, Elson.
Oh, Elson, it's been a hot minute, bro.
But how do we frame like Buggy like handing over like like how Whitebeard did to Roger? Like how do we frame that like in this scenario?
I would be more like, I think it's more like it's a three-way between Yamato, Buggy, and Luffy. Whoa. And there's something where Buggy has to be included with the going to Lathel, this kind of stuff. And Luffy most likely like he needs to be open-minded for him to be on the ship with him. And Yamato might be the one, to convince him.
The only thing with Yamato, right? Like I think Yamato is a good fit for the Straw Hats, but particularly as she's on like her little mini backstory at the moment, mini journey and stuff. But the only thing is like, what does she really provide to the Straw Hats that they don't already have? Or what does he already provide to the Straw Hats that they don't already have? They've got ice, they've got like transformations and stuff like that. Like Yamato is just kind of a bit of a Luffy kind of vibe, like just goes forward from the head first.
It's someone who's been studying it, listening to what her father has been saying entire life about the Joy Boy stuff, has been basically awaiting the time of that special person that read in the journal. Like Yamato lives and breathes that part of the story that the Straw Hat are ignoring completely. The whole Sun God stuff. And like I think Yamato might be the linchpin That basically, if it's on the ship, the Luffy will start listening to those kind of stuff. He will not just start ignoring it, you know. Understanding this importance, because Oda made this whole flashback to introduce us the importance of Oden's journal, and then we get Yamato with a deep dive of like we never got a character for saying that that person literally is the journal, and then they reveal that there's something missing in the journal, and it's Laugh-Tale. You know, it really feels like they're trying to connect, using Yamato as a conduit for the journal information to be out. So that's how
Yeah.
I see it.
Sorry, I'm dealing with
Sorry,
some
I'm dealing with something in chat.
technical difficulties really quickly, but I think it's really interesting, and like I could speak in length on, you know, like Yamato and how like they're like, I'm not going to say anything that the community hasn't been saying for years though, and I don't necessarily want to be like an echo chamber, more or less, like living in an echo chamber of all of these people's thoughts. I don't really think I have any major like original thoughts on like Yamato for Straw Hat. Most of my thoughts are that I don't think that Yamato really does belong with the crew, although I see what the community has been saying for a really long time. I think that there's just too much like obviously the parallels to Odin are there, but I think that part of the character arc for this person is for them to be happy coming into their own and not just wanting to identify as somebody else, and for them to find their own path, and for that to be their beautiful, you know, bookend for their story. And then they write their own tales and they inspire. Then it's like I think that like there's a level of inheriting will that can drive you, and there's a level that I think might not be, I just don't, that's not Yamato's dream. You know what I mean? I feel like they're still figuring out themselves because they've been shackled, because that's all the information that they had. Now that they can study and discover the whole wide world and things like that, that they might come to their own conclusions that are evolved, not abandoning their current morals or beliefs or their own, like, you know, goals, but like adapting them as you grow older as a person, as a free person who can do that. So I just don't see Yamato joining. Me personally.
I gotta say two things before we get off this is one, I'm definitely recording a Rambling Addiction episode on that whole buggy thing. Like that's going down. Two is I think Yamato will get back on Luffy's ship, but I do not think he will officially join the crew. Like Vex said, I think it's about he needs to go on this journey to figure out who he is and what he wants to do with his life, opposed to just being and carrying on Odin's will. That said, though, I think the likelihood of Yamato getting on the Straw Hat ship and helping them in the final saga is definitely high.
Yeah, I could agree on the whole, because that's my big thing of I was happy of not Yamato, not sad that Yamato didn't join after Wano because of being its own person, which I do think that being with Momo, the actual son of Odin, would kickstart that thing. But I just see Yamato being connected to that journey to Laugh-Tale. But I agree with what you guys are saying about Yamato being their own person. That is important, especially for Luffy.
Yeah, I think that's just like the most natural and expected conclusion to their whole story arc, is for them to come into their own, and I would love to see it. That would be my ideal ending for that, which means that they would not, in fact, need to have to like be in this lockstep of following in Odin's like shadow, and like it would be expected for them to be of the Straw Hat crew. I think it would be really cool if they ended up breaking that mold. And so that kind of like debunks like the strongest argument, I feel like, that most Yamato for Nakama fans have in my eyes. But I can respect that people view that differently, you know, and have their own ways that they think about it. It's just, for me, a character who honestly I think was really, really well executed in some areas and really poorly utilized in other areas. I think that would be the best case example for how that character exists in the end game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then that was Cube's take, right? So that
1 second. What
ahead.
if Joe D Boy in the chat said, what if Yamato gets on when the Straw Hats come back for Pluton? Maybe. Or someone like Blackbeard steals it and Yamato helps them get it back. Ooh, I like that too.
Cooking, mother.
No,
Cooking.
I could see it happening.
Okay.
And like the thing is though, is that I see that as like a Law figure or a Kinemon figure where they ride on the ship with the crew, but they're not actually part of the crew. They're just
that's what I think too with Yamato. I think that's how
I would agree on that.
Going to be tied into it.
But I
would
could
agree
see it
on that.
happening.
Yeah. Because I do agree, like, to become a Straw Hat, there's something very important, which is the dream, but also that uniqueness, you know what I mean? That, no shame,
Definitely
obviously, like that. And there is not enough. It's like, with like some other characters, people want as Straw Hats, which I don't think there's that uniqueness that Oda always tried with the Straw Hats.
There's definitely like a lot of representation there with like just general, like you say, the unique sort of nature of the character, strange abilities.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of wacky like One Piece, but not very in keeping One Piece, kind of like the Wano version of One Piece, kind of like how the arc was. I've got a question though with the Yamato stuff. How do you feel like someone mentioned earlier about Bon Clay, right? If Bon Clay was announced to be on the crew, which he's not going to be, it would be like, whoa, and no one would hate on it. But if Yamato joins the crew, I think it's good and it works in a lot of ways. It's just I just don't think it quite scratches the itch. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, Yamato's a good fit.
I think it would absolutely outrage a certain faction of the community, whereas it would there are people who would be like, okay, cool. And then there are people who would be really hype about it. And then there are people who might drop the series because of it, which is crazy in my opinion, because there are a lot of passionate individuals who have takes of certain Whole Cake and Wano members potentially joining, and there's a huge schism in the community between the two. Like very little people fit in the center part of that Venn diagram. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, let's not forget there are some characters that some people in the crew, that some people in the community love the crew, but if those people would be gone, they would be so happy. You don't have to say which characters are. We all know the two names. Yeah.
We will time it out again for real this time.
Yeah, that one might get you timed out, bud.
No, hold on. Okay, I'm next, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
I have said multiple times when I was first getting caught up, the first chapter I was current on, literally 12 hours after reading 1043, I was caught up and I was current. Not even 12 hours later, the scans for 1044 dropped and I saw Gear 5. That was the first thing I saw as a current, up-to-date member of the One Piece manga community. And like the whole YouTube space and Discord area and stuff like that. Like that was like the first thing I saw. And so Wano had not concluded. Luffy versus Kaido had not concluded. And there's so many different theories bouncing around. And one of my favorite theories, this is another alternate reality thing, because that's the vibes I'm hitting today. Sorry if you're not down for it, but you got to hear me out. Is Kaido for Straw Hat?
Oh my God.
Listen. He was a Joy Boy candidate, and he was all about might makes right. And after Luffy knocked him into his senses and whatnot, I think that would have been a really cool conclusion, instead of, because hear me out, this is the headspace I'm in. There are marine ships approaching outside of the Wano borders, and Oda had just said in an interview, I'm not going to just have Luffy defeat him with a big punch, even though that's what we got. And Zunisha was the one who deterred the marine ships. I was under the assumption for the longest time that through the fight on the rooftop and whatnot, that Luffy would end up punching it into Kaido, that his mentality would change, that making him believe that he is the real Joy Boy, which we've seen Luffy do time and time and time again, instilling in Otama and Momo and so many other individuals. Remember at Marineford, Mihawk said this is one of the most powerful gifts on the sea, or powers on the sea, and I think that it would be really, really interesting if Kaido, this unstoppable force of nature, this absolute tyrant sitting atop the power scaling of the world, that would even strike fear in like some of the figures that we're still seeing come into the fold now. If it's one-on-one, bet Kaido, right? But if Luffy, he would be the one person in the verse to be able to punch this dude's head on straight, instead of like him being like all in his head about like, well, Joy Boy, if I'm not Joy Boy's gonna have to get through me. And I thought that Kaido was going to realize, oh, this is the real Joy Boy. I'm wrong. Let me make up for it, save face. And if Luffy wasn't able to beat Kaido, because that doesn't make sense to me a little bit still, like him just going Gear 5 and instantly just being able to like Bajrang gun and like defeat this person who's supposed to be nigh in undefeatable. It would have been cooler for me if it were like a Katakuri situation where Katakuri gave Luffy the W. Luffy did not take that W. He was given that W. And like, I think it would have been interesting if like, because it was set up that like this was going to be an insurmountable fight. This is going to be a situation he could not prevail. But if he were to use his other power, not his punching, but his power to get people to follow him, to get Kaido to be like, okay, well, Straw Hats, you need to get out of here. Wano is about to be under siege. I will fend off the Marines. And if he pulled a Bonchan for the Straw Hats as they fled and got away to the next island, that's where my head was at for the longest point. And I thought it would have been really cool if Kaido did get... it would never be fully redeemed for the terrible, terrible things that he's done to this country. But if he just, got like some sense knocked into him by Luffy, instead of, because I think there's just like an issue with power scaling ever since like Luffy did take out Kaido in the way that he did, which Oda specifically said he wasn't going to have happen. I just think that there's a little bit of like speed bumps that took some gas out of my enthusiasm in post Wano, and in that conclusion that I would have handled a little bit differently. That's all I'm saying. Kaido for Straw Hat.
Also, I'm just gonna say something with Kaido, because I mean, you said he didn't realize he was Joy Boy during the fight with all he did, and how he's supposed to be that durable, and Luffy just went through him. I'm sorry, the fact that Luffy was all serious and then suddenly he changed into this white warrior who kept laughing constantly throughout the whole fight, I would have guessed that must be Joy Boy. I mean, that was the wildest for me. Kaido should have known better. And also, I like what you spit, but yeah, for me, it's fan fiction. Kaido for Captain Boy.
Hold on. Listen, I thought Din-Din's Who's Who take was wild. Vex, you just justified Kaido being on the Straw Hats, and you did it well. But at the same time, like Cube said, that's definitely alternate dimension fan fiction talk right there.
That's what I opened
I
up
get
with.
what you're saying, because I know, you were very honest about it being like that. But I get it. I get where you're coming from, because if it could have gone that way, right? It could have gone Luffy defeats Kaido and he bows to him instead of falling into lava.
Plus, guys, this was my first One Piece theory before I was actually like a part of the community, and I wasn't necessarily caught up yet. Like before I was fully caught up and I was reading through Roof Piece, this was the first like, oh, I'm almost there. Is this gonna happen? And this is like when I first caught the bug. So go easy on me, guys. But I'm still pretty passionate about it.
Yeah. No, I was gonna go along with your line of thinking, because even during their final clash, Kaido said, "What kind of a world do you want?"
Hell yeah.
Luffy told him, "A world where my friends can eat all that they want. A world where my friends are never going hungry." That says to me, Luffy wants to create a world where everything his friends want, they can have.
Listen, all I'm gonna say is Luffy's gonna have a hard time, maybe not with Momo, but with the people of Wano, to keep it under his wing if they found out that Kaido joins his crew.
Oh my goodness. I thought it was going to be like a self-sacrifice, honestly.
seeing
what's that,
like
Vision?
smile victims as you sail past. Like, oh, they're happy to see us. No, Kaido, you polluted the country.
No, but like the main
No,
thing
they're
that
happy
made
you're
it
gone, Kaido. They're not happy that you're here. They're happy
Yeah,
you're gone.
the main thing that made me like really feel like it was something that could happen was it being a self-sacrifice. Is if Kaido in his weakened state went and flew the remnants of Onigashima over to the Marines that were approaching, and we were like, how are we going to deal with this? Because we didn't know Zunisha was there yet. This was before that happened, where my head was at when I was thinking this. And I thought he was going to drop the bomb on the Marine fleet and end all of them, and potentially maybe take out an admiral or like a significant threat there, as well as himself, because he would have been in that explosion in his weakened state and plummet down into the ocean. I thought that he would be gone, and so it would be like in his final acts being like a straw hat, like Bonchan whenever we thought Bonchan was gone, right? So I thought it was gonna be like that.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was gonna actively come aboard and sail along with all his hopes and dreams or anything like that. I thought he was gonna straight you know, like
I love that.
Completely,
That was so
completely
good.
rational.
That was so
when I was
seamless.
actually reading it, I was thinking similar things, and also if you put it next to the character that also suffered a similar fate in Wano, Big Mom, then we see that Big Mom has literal states of regression. So if you could free her from that, despite the genocide, she'd be like she'd be innocent in a way. So, and I think like I have thought about that with Kaido as well, as you know, would Kaido maybe fight against the world government and stuff? But I don't know. I don't see him being completely out, but I also don't see it being some cover story where he's just sat there reading a book to children either. I think it needs to be
So, yeah.
engaging.
So
Oh my
Will in
goodness.
the chat is killing me. So he said, "No, you guys are right. That's why Big Mom will be the next Straw Hat. Emo
Oh
and
my
Blackbeard better not be Luffy's
I'm
friend because
down.
they want a lot." The Emo and
we know
Blackbeard
you're
one is
down.
crazy.
We know you're down, Lucas, for the Big Mom stuff.
I'm
But
down
like,
bad for Big Mom.
I don't know, like you guys were all like Lucas, you caught up almost at the same time that I did, and like I know Kube, you've
Yes,
been in
sir.
the series for a fat minute. Dill, you've been in it for a while. Den, you've been like
Yeah,
you,
did
and
it.
Den, you just said like you were also thinking something similar could potentially go
Yeah.
down with like
Yeah.
I'm not crazy, right? Like this was the
No,
world
no,
I
no,
was
no.
seeing. Yeah, like
No,
It's
that's-
Yeah,
ultimate,
it's
why,
like,
headcanon.
But it's
he's
beautiful.
crying,
Fiction.
doing all this emotional stuff, talking
Yeah.
about Joy Boy. It seems completely synonymous with Luffy, but just a different angle, right? Like a different candidate for Joy Boy, kind of how we have like Neville and Harry.
Yeah.
I use that example.
Exactly.
I think the problem with Blackbeard is a bit like he's Blackbeard. Kaido is a bit of a character like Doflamingo, Hody Jones, Arlong, and Crocodile. Especially where like there's a one part of the story where you're saying, "Whoa, Kaido's like this." He has also a Joy Boy. But then there's those moments where Oda like shows us a glimpse of what he did to Wano in the past. So it's like it's very hard to say.
Wait, so
"Ooh, would
you have a
Luffy really-"
problem? You have a problem with Doflamingo? He's who I was going to say next. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
I am so kidding. I am complete. I love Doflamingo, but absolutely not. It's like, but I see what you're saying is that like he would never be 100% redeemable in the longevity of the story. But I think a self-sacrifice is the closest we could ever get, and I was really wanting that because it would also just temper my expectations from Gear 5 so much more. Is that this isn't Luffy's like
there's a lot of
penultimate.
Blackbeard.
Like there's still ways for Luffy to climb in controlling this power, and it's not like, oh, no matter who he's facing in Gear 5 he's gonna be able to like because like that felt really strange to me, is that like Luffy should not have taken out Kaido in the way not in the way that he did, but just not in general. I think Kaido, a part of his dream was he wanted to take out himself. That was a whole part of his introduction, and I thought that would have been a really cool way to capstone his story. You know, get that full Ouroboros,
Particularly
you
with,
know,
his
like
intro.
yeah,
jumping off a cliff.
exactly.
Like,
And so
a lot of
this would have
people
been
expected something
in so many ways. I feel like it would have been a better conclusion to the roof piece bits, and it would have fed into a better conclusion of Wano. But I mean, I still love Oda, and I still think that he's cooking, and he's made a lot of really, really cool things since, you know, I have gotten caught up. I think that would have hit me a bit harder is if we got that.
Yeah,
Imagine-
there's a lot of like Blackbeard talk around this as well, for sure. Like this idea that there's these irredeemable characters that need redemption in some way. So
Mhm.
yeah.
But that's
Imagine
all I've
actually
got. Yeah,
imagine
that's all
we
I've got on
actually- it was
Kaido.
off- Imagine it was off panel and it's another whole cake situation. Kaido and Big Mom were weakened by the lava, and then Big Mom just ate him. So taking it back from our flashback.
I gotta
Yeah,
shout
I
out
mean,
my
yeah,
boy
yeah.
Dastard in the chat. That's my dude right there.
Dastard Dan.
Oh, Dirty
what's good?
Dastard.
Dastard Dan.
Unless anybody else has
Group one
anything to
doesn't
say.
exist.
Oh my goodness. Unless anybody else has anything to say on like my whole take there and my whole spiel, I think we're all in agreement. It should have happened. But no, I'm kidding.
If I ever drop a whack theory one day and you criticize it, I'll remember this moment.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That brings us to next in rotation, our lovely captain, Straw Hat Lucas. Once again, we are in the third round of picks.
Yeah, since we're in the third round of picks and we're coming up on the 2-hour mark of the stream, I'm going to drop the one that we've all been thinking. She's on the thumbnail. Vivi.
Carrot. Oh.
Because I'm under. Because I'm under. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Fuck, dude. Then I just saw Will in the chat say Cube speaking facts, Big Mom eats people. Like what?
Oh my goodness.
Fuck. But with Vivi, I don't feel like, because we've seen how Luffy says goodbye to Straw Hat companions, right? Especially with Kinemon and Momo. He gave him a flag and was like, yeah, this is your land is under our protection. If anyone comes here, show them this kind of thing. But with Vivi, in Luffy's mind, I don't think she's ever left the crew. I don't think she's not part of the crew in Luffy's mind. I think that is his 10th member. Like, that is the final Straw Hat. And like he said in the live action, and Desness, my boy in the chat, was saying earlier, 10 men and a bird. Vivi and Kuro fit right there.
That is perfect, yeah. I put it on the layout of the stream right now on YouTube. You can see the X on Luffy's wrist. I put it in the thumbnail as well. I actually completely believe Vivi is already a Straw Hat, but for content's sake, I'm here spitting Kaido for Straw Hat and shit like that. So, but I completely agree. Vivi has a dream. Vivi has a role. Vivi gels with the entire crew, and the only aspect that I think is concerning to me is her power level. Now that we're in post-time skip, even figures like Nami and Usopp and Chopper, the weakling trio, are streets ahead, from where we saw her with the Peacock slashers. And who knows?
What if she shows up and just like, because she is a king now. Well, she's a queen now, right? She's the next heir to the throne of Alabasta, and has the will of D. What if she's got fucking insane conquerors hockey and we just haven't seen it yet?
Well,
also, I just want to say,
there's no doubt.
Really quick.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Really quick, Lucas. I want to say we got 99 minutes because you said it like 2 minutes ago, but we got 99 minutes into stream before you said fuck. So good shit.
Let's go! I'm so proud of myself.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Den. Den, I cut you off. I'm so sorry. I just had to say it.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I was saying, yeah, fucking good stuff.
Fucking good stuff. Yeah. Okay.
So to counter the whole Conquerors thing with Vivi, just a reminder, and we saw the last episode, Kid has Conquerors. Conquerors isn't nothing if you don't know how to use it.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true. But I mean, we did see, like, when the rain started in Alabasta, she called everyone forward. Maybe, that's a touch of the voice of all things or observation or something like that. There was hints that hockey existed in the pre-time skip era. Blackbeard said it literally the arc after Alabasta in the manga in the original English translations. He says hockey on Jaya. Like,
well, Crocodile was about to say it too. He was just like, "Were you about to use ... And then he gets cut off. Like they were literally about to name drop hockey right then and there.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think it starts from Little Garden. It starts from Little Garden in pre-time skip.
I'm on my way to you. Listen out for my knock. I'm coming up there. You'll see me.
What? You gonna fight?
What?
No, because you're spitting on the same shit I've been saying for years. Is that Vivi spoke with her full will and called the rain down to Alabasta.
Well, not definitely,
Exactly,
but
yeah.
that's what I think is the idea. Yeah, and then like there's a few
Yeah.
panels in the arc of her sat at a window looking out, and it's just raining, and she says some
And think about
ominous stuff.
Who was with Luffy on Drum Island when Correa gave us the Will of D thing?
Yeah.
Right there, Vivi.
Mm.
Like,
I think it's
you know what I mean. Like she interacted with both Luffy and Vivi.
it's
Went
really
inside
interesting.
Laboon as a whale with a prince
Mhm.
or with like a dude stylized as royalty.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting as well is that like we were just talking about Luffy's ability and Buggy's ability to have people follow them. She is a political figure. She is like somebody who was able to like she was just naturally gifted at public speaking, and like if exerting her will is a part of that as well, like you know it clearly is with Luffy. I think it's another like candidate to fit that like and make that like a trifecta instead of just a duo, because we really only know two main pivotal figures in the story, maybe three if you count Shanks, because everyone seems to simp for Shanks, but like Buggy and Luffy have this power that Mihawk was speaking about. It's undeniable for Luffy, and I think that it's so safe to bet for Buggy as well on that. I think Vivi is also a contender for that power, the most powerful power on the sea.
Yeah,
I think that might actually be true. Like the way that you said about Buggy as well. Like Buggy has this idea, has this like theme of imagination and like the like bluff, empty bluff is the island, right, and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
he bluffs and then it comes true. And so is the same with Usopp. He's scared and it kind of powers this imagination. And now we see Bonnie transform into imagination. So I think you might be right. It might be a similar imagination, but just on a scale that is just next level. And if 3-Day has anything to do with it, then she will be able to control the ancient weapons as well, which is almost too OP for the Straw Hats.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
and Buggy,
Cube.
Buggy and Usopp definitely have it in Peldown and in Dressrosa. They made people actually see them as Messiah and God and a god. So they definitely have that. And remember what Whitebeard? We don't know who Buggy's father is, but the first time Whitebeard saw him, in Marineford, he said, "You're the Coven boy in Roger's crew with Shanks." He said, "Yeah." Then he tells then he manipulates them. Then tells Marco, "I can't deal with that BS." Not about Buggy, but about the people behind him. So Buggy, he might have known about that talent in his family of, just rallying people to his cause.
I don't
Just
think
good
Buggy
network.
knows about it, but I think that
Sorry.
Vivi might know something about it, and like she's like I think that's like why she wasn't willing to give up, and she like it's like so many. I've seen people kind of complain about it, which is crazy to me because it's such a moving scene in the anime when you see Vivi continuously yelling out into the public and asking them to stop and praying for rain and just wanting some sort of, and like her will and resolve to not stop until it is accomplished is huge. I love that. And that was such a great character moment.
Like, the
She's
will of
definitely one of
D or
the better
something.
characters.
Almost, yeah.
One of the cooler characters.
Not
Yeah,
my
I agree with you.
favorite.
She is.
I love Vivi, but not my favorite princess. If you want to see that, come to the stream on Wednesday or join the Discord. Link in the description.
Where Vex would be there.
I won't be there,
Vex won't be on that stream.
but someone here will defend my take, and they'll stand on it with all 10
Someone
toes.
here will agree with it.
Hey,
They have to.
I'm gonna be honest, Bex. I have the same person in that same spot, so I'll be there.
My boy,
Let's go.
man of culture, a man
Don't
of
forget,
culture.
I'm going to bring up to you, the whole time we show Vex's character list, I'm going to bring up the fact he fought for Kaido for Nakama in this stream.
Yo, hear me out. It makes sense. Okay, whatever. We're done with. So
It does.
the thing is,
it
it's
was
like
really good, man. Your argument was brilliant.
I've heard so
exactly.
many. King of Plugs is crazy though, Nak. I'm just gonna say, like, that is also crazy.
That's not what they think it means.
No, bro. No, but I just want to say, like, there have been for I believe 20 years now, people believing in the Vivi for Nakama. So I haven't been a fan for that long, and like, so I mean, but I know like my boy Randy Troy has been on the absolute forefront of this, in the trenches, fighting for his life for this, and I completely believe in the Vivi truth that is that she is already the 10th and final crew member, but until we get that actual scene where they do reunite, we can still have fun, wacky, silly streams like this. You know what I mean? But
Exactly, yeah.
I think like just to touch one last thing on it is I think it's important that at the moment they're on polar opposites of the planet. Like I feel like they might be the two sovereigns and they play a role, and being close together might be problematic for the story, if that makes sense. Like it, like you said,
Yeah.
Vex, it might be at the end where they're put together, and when they're put together, that's when like they can, you know, maybe access Laughdale or just blow loads all over the planet, basically. Like,
yo.
No, but I get what you're saying, dude. It's like it's the
How
they have to
poetic.
come together at the correct time. Yeah.
yeah, not like that, but yeah.
Yeah. Come together.
No, okay. Wild. Somebody
for
had
me.
to say it though. Excellent choice. To most, and according to the thumbnail and the layout of the stream and most of the community at large, the only real choice. Somebody had to say it, and you guys absolutely did not hear it first here, but yeah,
We're glad you heard it here, though.
we would
have
be
we done the
remiss.
Bonnie spot yet? I
We
mean, the
have
carrot
not.
We've-
We haven't done either,
Not
and
yet.
you are actually next, Den, if you would like to
Okay.
state your pick. But I
Right.
just wanted to
This
say
is
we
probably
had
gonna-
to go
yeah.
over we had to go over Vivi. We would literally be such
Yeah.
fools not to.
Yeah, a couple of times. Carrot, right? I'm choosing carrot, right? And that might blow some socks off, but there is a lot going on there, and I'm not. And like Bushido obviously is like a documentarian at this point about rabbits, but I
So
think
which devil fruit do you think she's getting when she joins the
Stop!
crew?
Don't open with that. Don't let this man speak.
do you not think on one end of the crew, the first member to be a sun member and the 10th to be a moon member, that is completely perfectly encapsulating. I think
That is,
this
yeah.
idea that she's going to lead the dukedom is bullshit. I think I don't think that's going to happen. I think Carrot's going to play a much bigger role. She's one of the she's like she plays the role of one of these princesses in One Piece, but she's so much different from all the others because firstly, White Rabbit is symbolic of gods of the moon. Minks have all these connections to the moon. Zoe, I just don't see Zoe staying where it is on the back of Zunisha. I don't think that kingdom's going to be the same by the end of the story. So I do think Carrot is going to not be in Zoe. I think she'll play a role in the court of the Straw Hats, let's say, but I'm just not sure if she would make a 10th because we've already seen everything she's got to give. And if you stroke her too hard, she'll die. No, that's a joke. That's a joke. But the rest of the stuff, I think she's a significant character, and Bushido has opened my eyes. It took him like 4 years, but I'm down.
No, see, I've said this before. I think that her role is going to be as like kind of like Laboon and them. It's Grand Fleet, right? I think that she will take control over Zoe. I disagree with you on that. So I think she will take full control of Zoe and bring them to the final war. Like she will be the one to bring them into the fold and be like, no, we're going to help Luffy. Like this is
Carrot
what
rides
we're for.
Zunisha, I would love it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure how they would do it.
Yeah, I know.
But they could do because Zunisha, a lot of people do speculate that Zunisha is also from the moon, right? So if Carrot can speak some sort of moon lingo and get Zunisha moving, then that would be epic. Bushido would be happy with that, I think.
I think so as well. And plus, it would give. I agree with you 100% too about Zoe not being on Zunisha by the end of the story because Zunisha needs a break. He needs to rest.
Yes.
That poor big baby boy.
I want to interject here and say that Carrot was actually going to be my next pick. I completely, I think like, so the thing is like, but I'm going to preface this again, like I have with my previous two picks, like when I picked Polly and when I picked Kaido for Straw Hat. Yeah, you heard me right. Check out the VOD if you didn't see all of that. I absolutely cooked and you missed it. But this is not a meme answer. I firmly 100% do believe that there was a point in time. We're going back to what I said before with both of my other takes. This is an alternate reality take there was a point in time where I firmly 100% believed that Carrot would join the crew. We are not currently living in that time, unfortunately. And, you know, that's something that over 100 chapters ago, I have since abandoned as a belief. But there was a point in time where I 100% was all for it. I saw all of the cases that everybody like Bushido has been making for the entire time. I respect it and I completely believe it. But at the same time, I'm not going to tell Oda he's wrong in his own story. I'll just make my own little headcanon about it, you know, but I loved that the scene where Frankie was so proud when they were like making a hot exit out of Whole Cake and Jinbei was at the helm, and Carrot was on the lookout in the crow's nest. And Frankie was like so proud. He's like, I've never seen the Sunny operate this efficiently. We've never sailed like this. And like, I love that. And obviously the spot of lookout is important, but I think that many people can serve in that position. But I absolutely love that moment, and it felt so gratifying and vindicating until we got further into the Wano arc and we got to the conclusion where Carrot did. And I feel like the responsibilities of running the dukedom should have gone to another mink, and it fell a little flat in that moment when Carrot was given these responsibilities, because it clearly should have gone to someone like Wanda, who's older, or Shishilion, who is in a higher position of power, or even like Miyagi, who, you know, but like chill, dog. But like, I think that there's so there is so much to Carrot for Nakama, and for real, join click in the link in the description, join the Discord and read. Bushido has multiple threads in Punk Records in our Discord server about all of the reasons why, and I think some of them are batshit crazy, but there are enough of them for me to support and fully believe that yes, there was a point in time where I was undoubtedly completely all on board with Carrot for Nakama. That time is not the present, though.
If you cut out the other people's answers and then you have your last one and then that one, because you said about the 100 chapters ago, it sounds distinctly like you thought Carrot was the Straw Hat until you met Kaido. And then you were like,
that's exactly
no way,
it. And then I was like, this is the guy. He's the 10th. Like,
I've been so wrong.
Oh my god.
I'll never make a mistake again.
So I'm gonna jump in, obviously, as number one counter on Carrot joining the Straw Hats. And why I actually think the whole Zoe thing is important is I do believe, and we kind of seen with the propaganda machine, when the time comes, they need the ruler of Zoe to be 100% loyal to the Sun God. You can't dilly-dally, and I think Carrot will be like, I know the Minks are extremely loyal, but I think loyalty towards Carrot, and the thing that bothers me with the whole Carrot thing is, as we got Carrot for 3 arc, Zoe, Whole Cake, and Wano. As we got further on it, Carrot became more and more like us. Like, not even a side character, just a character being there, but not having really a moment. So that's my problem with Carrot. Grand Fleet, 100%. For Straw Hat, I need more. I need her to be really written differently.
See, at this point in the story, I completely agree. At this point, now that there have been like clear like plot devices implemented and things that are said like that prevent her from like I see that now, and like I do believe that she served like enough purpose for her to not be needed in future like events outside of like the final war where everybody and their mom shows up, right? Like but like there was a point in time where I was just like, no, there has to be so much more. I do believe that we have gotten enough, though. Do I want more? Yeah, absolutely. I actually do. And as much crap as I give Bushido all the time about the agenda, even at the beginning of the stream, you know, I gave in multiple points throughout the stream. I actually was a completely firm believer of Carrot for Nakama, and I fully respect it. But I just think that that ship has sailed, and now we're just gonna settle for Grand Fleet. It's fine.
I just have to do this because Will of Dreams said that Bushido writes more than Alexander Hamilton. He writes like a man out of time, unless his one theory where Carrot gets the time fruit. Yeah, but then I said, you've got to say it now. Now, every time we address Bushido, we have to do it to the melody of Alexander Hamilton and be like, Bushido the Carrot Man.
Oh my god.
I'm telling you, we gotta do it every time now.
Wild.
I'm here for it.
But I don't know, like
Yeah.
I like you
Sorry
were
for
saying,
that.
Den with the ties to like the sun and the moon and the will of P, you know, and like I understand all of the plot points that have been brought up in so many other different panels, and like the moon reflects the light of the sun, and like the Nox pirates being Pedro's crew, who, and that means night in Latin, I believe, and like there's so much that set up this character to be somebody who provided a lot more to the story, and like I completely understand, like, and I was on the same like boat believing that Carrot was absolutely going to join. I don't believe it anymore, but I respect the agenda as much as I like poke fun at it and stuff like that. I completely respect the take. I don't respect how certain individuals in the community, and I'm not naming names here, would ride that agenda so hard that they would slander other characters and their possible potential involvements in future plot arcs and points and things like that. That I do not respect, but I do respect Carrot for Nakama. You heard it here, folks.
This is treasonous by Last Arc standards. I won't.
Oh my God.
we left it all to the end, and he's not in the chat, so
Yeah, he got out of the chat right when we started talking about
No,
Carrot.
Dastard said, "I want to forgive you, Vex." Oh my
yeah, I saw
God.
that.
So,
No, Dan,
Vex-
wind it back to about an hour and 40 into the VOD and hear my Kaido for Nakama. You know, then you'll forgive me.
Okay, Vex, first
So-
Kaido, I let it slide. Now Carrot, send me by DM your real name. I'm gonna write. I took out my old Death Note. Gotta write your
Oh
name in it.
my goodness. But no, I'm glad you picked it though, Den. Because now I can pick another meme and no, I'm kidding. No, but I think and like
you picked Kaido twice.
Oh, so hold on. So were the other two meme answers?
wait, what? No, I'm not doing
hold
this
on.
for the
Please
content. Like these are no, I'm kidding. No, but that brings us to the end of the Carrot for Nakama discussion. If you missed it, I'm sorry, but you'll have to catch the VOD. That is, I think we've spoken in plenty length about our thoughts on that, and we know where all of us individually stand. Speak now or forever hold your carrots. But that's going to bring us to Dill with your next take.
I don't wanna hold any carrots, the one in the story or any real ones. But alternatively to that, I do think that there is a pivotal point of Kuma and via extension Bonnie following the Straw Hats,
Here
because
we go.
Kuma placed his bet on the new generation just the same as Shanks did. He said, that man is Nika. And me saying via extension of that is, I do believe Bonnie inherited Kuma's will fully. That was her going in and witnessing his memories, seeing all those times before she was around, to know about her father's life and to know about what he went through. There's that connection between what Kuma was looking for in Sun God Nika and what he found in Luffy as saying, hey, this is the one that I think will be the savior of everyone. So he was willing to sacrifice his own free will to have his daughter see the future that the Sun God could bring.
I like it.
I could kiss you
Yeah.
right now, Dill.
I respect the
Like-
Bonnie agenda, and I want to say,
Dude.
I want to say to the chat
Yeah,
right now,
exactly. If we were face to face.
we did not coordinate
I already
this.
told you I'm on the way, Lucas.
No, hold up. We did not coordinate
Sorry,
putting
Nick.
Vivi, Carrot, and Bonnie back to back to back in this discussion. This just happened. So it's faded. It's faded. But and Yamato was also brought up. Sorry, I broke pace and put Kaido in the middle of all that, guys. But I cooked. So. But no, with Bonnie.
Kaido is my favorite princess, by the way.
Oh my God, princess! Like no, I think that with Bonnie, I understand this arc has made a lot of individuals really feel and in so many different parts of the arc have made people feel like Bonnie for Straw Hat. There's been articles that have said like Bonnie confirmed to be the next Straw Hat and all these things. And like, the thing is that like this SBS also confirmed it to me, is that her crew is still out there. She's still a captain of her own ship. And I think that I see her as a law figure. I see her as somebody who
wait. I just want to correct that. She's not captain of her own ship. She's captain of one of Big Mom's ships. Just actually,
it's hers now. Whatever, you know.
It's
but
hers now.
yeah, I'd like to see Big Mom come up and like, you know, come and get it. You know what I mean? Like, but like the thing is
true.
I would too, actually.
Pause.
Like,
No,
I paid to see that. Yeah, like actually.
But like legitimately, she has her own crew. She has her own, like, yes, she has a dream. No, she doesn't have a role. And to anybody who says she's a cabin girl, that's crazy. You are insane. I'm sorry. Like, I absolutely understand why people believe in Bonnie for Nakama, and this arc has made a lot of people feel that way, and I respect that. I just think that there's so much more to her character that can be fulfilled off ship after she spends some time Straw Hat adjacent, and she could be Grand Fleet. I do not feel the need whatsoever for her full character arc to include her becoming an actual proper Straw Hat.
How old was the cabin?
I don't need her to become a proper.
I'm gonna look that up.
Imply that she needs to be a cabin role. I say that whenever it comes down to the Straw Hat pirates finding out about the truth of the Void Century, she is there alongside the crew, figuring out the true story of Sun God Nika and via extension Joy Boy, and also via
no, and I love that. Luffy. But I was just addressing a part of the community that absolutely believes that she will be a proper 10th Straw Hat, and that she will be the cabin girl, which is crazy to me.
There is no position that she could fill that isn't already being filled. It's the same conversation we were having earlier with one of the other candidates.
Go on, Lucas. Tell us the age of cabin boys.
12.
12. So she is the perfect age.
But we saw them. We've seen Buggy at 9, but the first time we saw him, he was 12. Like as a child, and that's when he ate his devil fruit and stuff.
Banks was a cabin boy in the chest that washed up on the rock.
No, but that's neither here nor there.
That's like 2 years old at max.
Yeah, but that is like literally neither here nor there. Like there would be that is a role that like we do not need fulfilled on the Straw Hats. I'm not saying that she couldn't fit as that. I'm just saying we don't need that role on the Straw Hats, and I think it's disrespectful to Bonnie as a character and her full potential and arc to put her in that role.
I do think I am on the team that she will join the crew. I really would love to see it, but I don't think her role would be cabin girl at all. I don't know what it would be, if I'm being honest. Oh, go ahead.
The double Nika thing is just surely too much, man. Like I think Vex has been on the VCs like the rest of us for long enough to know that people were saying, like you said about Vivi joining the crew 20 years ago, and we've had it with every character. Like now, people are like Lilith is going to join the Straw Hats, and like I get it, but it's just not going to happen. And the Bonnie thing, I agree with Vex. She's one of, if not the biggest female character since Vivi. Sorry, Bushido. So I don't think they can just throw her on the crew and stuff. She needs to have like some sort of like, I don't know, you could almost see her starting a religion or something, but she's just so petulant and she's such a child, and like she is a bit of a dick, if you remember. It's only in Egghead where we've seen her like softer side. Like so I don't see her on the crew, but I imagine if you did a poll, she'd probably be number 1 or 2 for who people want.
For me to
so you're saying we should do a poll?
Yeah.
Well,
so for me, for the whole Bonnie thing, it's I've said quite a few times. It does seem that she wants to make right about her parents, but her parents was the Kuma had the love for Nika, but then was to try to save people and found the Revolution Army. So for me, I would say that I have no problem for joining the Straw Hat because I do like Bonnie as a character, but like Vex said, like her potential feels like she could be so well used on the Rev side and maybe be that what's called a closer connection between the Straw Hats, if she's an ally, the Straw Hat and the Revs than Sabo is.
Yeah.
You know? because I feel like it's there. They keep pushing it. You know, when they talk about we
Interesting.
lost Kuma, we don't have an army. Then Bonnie gets Pacifista's army under, of course, under desactivated. But it seems that every time when they bring something with the Revs in this arc, Bonnie has the answer. So it kind of makes you feel like they want to connect Bonnie with the Revs. You know, how does she's lost in Marijoa Pangea Castle? Who helps her out and who actually saves her from not being captured by the Knights? Sabo, the second command in the Revolution Army. Like there is that connection to it. So I could see her joining the Revs.
She is homeless as well, right? She's like, she has no nation attached to her. Like Robin, you'd associate O'Hara, Frankie, Water 7.
I mean, I'd assume she could go back to Sorbet.
Yeah,
If she can go back to
I think
Sorbet.
maybe revolutionize Sorbet or something, but it's definitely not the deep ties that we've had with like Carrot and Zoe, for example,
and Vivi. Yeah.
She doesn't.
No, but like to feed into the Revs tie, because I love that, and that's like her father is a Rev, her mother is a Rev, and like, or was a Rev, and like I just think that that's like something that's so cool. And one thing that we know about the current Nika, the person who she admires, the person who her father like is smiling at, and like in the current panels and things like that, that like Luffy doesn't give a shit about being Nika. And one thing that we do know about a significant Rev is that he is willing to take the mantle and the label as being the face of a cause so that another individual can operate in the shadows, that being the Flame Emperor Sabo. And I think that if Luffy said like, fuck that, I'm not Nika, I don't know who that is, I'm Luffy and I'm going to be the king of the pirates. And you know, it would make sense for Sabo to be somebody who claimed the mantle as the sun god, like he graduated above Flame Emperor status, and for that to be somebody that Bonnie went and clung to and followed in her mother and father's shoes as a distraction so that the Straw Hats can operate. I mean, they're Yonko, they have a huge target on their back and things like that, but to pull a little bit of the heat away, pun intended, from Luffy and put it onto Sabo's shoulders was something he's already shown that he's okay with doing for Dragon, and supporting other D-Clan members and other people who are probably better utilized not being on the front page. I think that would be so perfect. And Sabo is the best candidate for being the diversion sun god, I feel like. And he's also a Rev. Yeah. So
and also
that's
like,
my take.
I'll bring another point. Yeah, another point that I find very interesting. Even though she's from the South Blue, her mother, Ginny, was leading the East Blue, right? And that position was shown on panel where Belobetti asked Kuma if she can take her position, which she accepted. And we've seen that Bonnie does do the Nika thing, but she needs encouragement from Luffy, right? And Belobetti literally has that fruit, the fruit to pump people's will inside them to do stuff, you know, that are within them. So, like I said, I feel like there's this clear connection with the Revs and Bonnie.
I think Vegapunk has connections to Bonnie too, and Lilith, I believe, is going Revs. So I think there'd be a great little duet to go together, and Bonnie and Lily to sort of their pasts by consolidate their pasts by sort of talking to each other about Vegapunk, Kuma, their relationship.
Kind of a Velma and Louise type of situation. That's nice. I like it. No, I'll be honest. I really like it. Both of them.
Real quick.
I'm just going to read a quick couple of comments. DQ said Vivi can't be next Nakama because she already is Nakama. We did kind of touch on that, and I think that's actually a fully relevant point. But I also do want to bring this up. Jody List says, my real vote is Oda will most likely have 0 more Straw Hats. How do we feel about that?
I completely agree.
I can see that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I like, my thing is, I said it earlier in the stream, I'm firmly on the boat that Vivi is already a Straw Hat, so she can't be the next Straw Hat. But for content's sake, you know, that's what the whole framing of this stream is about. Is we have all these wonderful discussions, and I say shit like Polly for Straw Hat and Kaido for Straw Hat, and we talk about Carrot in depth, as well as, you know, people like Yamato and Vivi and like there's so many wonderful candidates. And I think that, like I said before, whenever Den brought up that it could be somebody that we don't even know and how funny that would be, I think that Oda's just stringing us along, and he's just putting these in front of our face for to make us to just stoke hype. And I don't think we'll ever actually truly get one. That's where my my foot is most firmly placed. But it wouldn't have been a very fun stream if we opened up with that, you know. But I think this has been really fun. You know, we've had a lot of fire takes, and you know, like my Kaido take, and then we've had some, like, you know,
oh my god,
lesser
So
takes.
I do have a last one, because that one I didn't want. This is one I think everyone would agree, because there's someone who's gonna have a problem keeping his job, and he's shown that he had already a lot of conflict, and I think Fujitora might have a place with the Straw Hats. Because don't forget,
wow.
he freed slaves. Like, his position in the Admirals is, after Dressrosa, it's on thin ice. So I feel like it will be a perfect type of character, because Smoker. I know we talk about Smoker, but I feel like Smoker still has, like, reasons to, like, he's a Marine man. But Fujitora, just imagine it, guys. Close your eyes, like Fujitora, imagine it.
Doran makes a good point as well in the chat that, like, the ground fleet exists for this partly for this reason anyway, so that people that don't make Straw Hats can still be Straw Hat
Straw Hats, yeah.
And then Tree the
like
Wolf,
the entire country of Wano.
Yeah, Tree the Wolf.
Yes.
We have been saying all of these
Alabama.
things the entire stream. But shout out to the Struggler of the last arc. But yeah, we've already said, like, literally all of those, bro. Like,
every take he said,
like
we've
it,
been
though.
like, yeah, we said it. Yeah,
literally
I mean,
every
he's on
single
He's getting the main ones though, like.
That's why he's on the last
we
arc.
appreciate yeah, I think. Well, one thing I wanted to say as well, a bit off topic, but I said it to a couple of people in the server the other day. I think it might have been Lucas, but with the way One Piece is going, the speed it's going, as I think a lot of theorists are soon to be pretty cooked. Like, a lot of the things that we've been theorizing for years are going to be answered, and everyone's going to be making the same stuff and the same theories. And I've just been the past couple months, like, thinking, like, it is nice to go back and look at some of these characters that don't usually, you know, Vivi's definitely going to get the glow up and stuff, but Carrot, people like that, they should probably, it's cool to give them a second look. And talking about Kaido in a way that he might be a Straw Hat, I think it is relevant, and it's nice to sort of go back and do this. So I enjoyed this, and I'm keen to do this sort of thing again with, like, I used to think, like, you know, it's the lesser characters and the less significant, but really it's what One Piece is actually about. And as we get to the end, it's nice to reconcile that.
hell yeah. Cube, I'm just trying to make sure I have the master list down. Did you said one last who was the last person you mentioned? I'm so sorry. Fujitora. Okay, yeah. To speak on that very quickly, Grand Fleet all day. There's no shot he's actually sailing along with them, but Grand Fleet for sure. I love Fujitora. He's my favorite admiral.
He's not exactly the lookout they were going for, I don't think.
I mean, hear me out. No, like, you do a lot of the heavy lifting, but no, like, I think it's like Fujitora is. I see him in the same boat as, like, Kinemon and Vivi, but with different applications potentially. But he's like the diplomat, kind of. Like, this dude has a reputation. He was able to be, like, literally drafted into the Marines and immediately skip from being, like, recruit or captain or anything straight to admiral. This dude has pull. This dude has seen some shit, even though not recently. But yeah, like, I think he fits in as, like, that diplomat kind of, like, role, but not in the crew proper, in the Grand Fleet of things.
I want to say the results of the poll real quick. For who's next, Namaka. Yamaka's. Fuck. It was pretty close, actually. Listen. I thought Vivi was gonna win it for, like, so long, but in the end, Bonnie won with 35%. Vivi and Yamato tied for 28%, and 7% for Carrot. So 1 vote for Carrot. But
it was
something
Duran.
I do want to say also, it was. Before we wind down the stream completely, is now let's cook on who's going to be the next crewmate of the last arc.
Whoa.
Will never be.
Hold on. Cube said Fujitora. I still have one more take before the rotation is complete. Yeah. And there were so many wonderful individuals that were mentioned in the chat, and I just wanted to very briefly touch on some of them, but maybe not every single one of them. But I have been paying attention to the chat this whole time. I've been taking notes. I've been taking all of your wonderful chats very seriously. We love you guys. and I didn't want anybody to feel like they went unrepresented or like that any of their opinions were unnoticed. There were a lot of people who say Kobe for Straw Hat and stuff like that. I don't specifically subscribe to that myself, but I think he has a place in other parts of the series, filling other roles and being like within the new order of the Marines after the dismantling of what we currently see as the world government. And then we've also seen a lot of individuals saying stuff like Boa for Straw Hats. No, Boa's F tier. She's garbage. Take her out to the curb. I don't want to see it. There's also people who say, "What's up, Tree?" We're about to wrap up, actually. So I'm just doing like one last little like hurrah of some of the things that I've seen people saying in the chat. Bartolomeo
slander in before we wrap up.
Have to. Bartolomeo for Straw Hat. No, I think he is perfectly where he needs to be. And I think that his role is most gratifyingly fulfilled, being one of the figureheads of the Grand Fleet. Sabo, same thing. He is filling his role too well right now to ever. I think it's a downgrade for somebody like Sabo to be put into the role of Straw Hat. Same thing with Law. I loved that you brought up pudding earlier, Den, and I think that's a really interesting conversation. But again, that just kind of goes with my same thoughts on Katakuri. I feel like if we do get Katakuri, and we spoke on that previously in the stream, so I won't rehash it all right here, but I feel like those are like a bit of a package deal once things oh, there's Mr. Bushido. Yes, you missed all of our carrot speak. I also wanted to say two individuals that we did not mention, one of them for obvious reasons because he has an entire nation to run, the Shogun of Wano Momonosuke. I would have loved to see it, but we're not, he's got his own things. But Otama, on the other hand, could have been a wonderful Straw Hat candidate, and I would have absolutely loved to see that. And I feel like almost every single argument that you have for Bonnie, you could also make for Otama in some form of a facsimile, although not the Kuma ties, but like the Ace ties. And I think that would be such a fantastic thing to see as somebody who kind of continues to carry on the will of Ace in the crew, and that would be so cool.
She also has an interesting Delphi because, we keep talking about, will Luffy lose control of his Gear 5 like a Monster Point? Him being a mythical Zoan, her fruit could work on him as well. Like, I already thought of, like, she has the fruit that could calm down the sun god if he goes crazy.
Oh shit, Bushido's saying now Momo will join.
Bro. But Bushido, we had an entire...
agreed with you?
No, we had an entire section where we talked about Carrot. Bushido, play back the VOD, watch it. We did that for you. Much respect, much love. What's up, Tree?
Have you guys discussed the potential of the Iron Giant joining the crew?
We have not. There's a similar thing that I was just gonna bring up as my last like actual take, which I think could be similar maybe or adjacent, but we can kind of talk about them both and then we'll kind of come to a conclusion because we have been cooking for over 2 hours now. If like the Iron Giant is definitely something that I could see being, I think that there's too much plot relevance to it not necessarily leaving this island, and a lot of people are thinking that it might kind of go kaboom and pull a self-sacrifice, but I don't know, like we don't know necessarily what is driving it to be semi-sentient, like maybe like an automata, or if it has maybe like a Klabautermon of its own. And that brings me to what I was going to say. And I know Josh, the musician of the last arc, who was busy today, so he could not be on stream with us, fully agrees as well, is that the Klabautermon of the Sunny is the final
That's
Nakama.
nice. That's big.
That's huge.
Yeah, I like it.
She said all of them things, but yeah, that is it.
But there's no I can't think of any reason why we don't consider the Sunny, just like we did with the Mary, like its own, and like in Film Red, it had its own personification. And there was even Frankie who said that the will of the Mary lives on in the mini Mary. And I think in the episode of Mary, there was a new art for the Klabautermon. Instead of it wearing like a green coat like it was when it was the Mary's Klabautermon, it showed it I think on the mini Mary or like on the Sunny, and it was like wearing an orange coat, like the color of the Sunny's figurehead. And so I believe that we haven't seen it, you know, we haven't seen a Klabautermon since the Mary's, you know, goodbye, but I believe that the Sunny will at the end of the story absolutely have its Klabautermon, and it will show its face, and it will be the final crew member that we truly need.
Iron Giant runs on Tuntatas in a hamster wheel inside his armor. Thank you, Will.
Will is
Thank you.
cooking. Oh my goodness.
All night.
But yeah, I don't know. Does anybody else have any like theories on like I can see, like if the Iron Giant does get off this island, sure, I see that being a thing just as much as like some of the other like with Bonnie and Lilith, I could see them being more Grand Fleet adjacent, but the Iron Giant being so closely tied to Joy Boy, I could see that being like something in contender for like not just a Grand Fleet spot, but something more. But I don't think it's making it off the island, unfortunately. However, the Sunny is making it off the island, and that's a true crew member. I think that's undeniable. I don't know if anyone's going to push back on that, but if so, go ahead.
The only there's one thing with the Combatant thing, right? The Combatant thing, I think, is definitely a fat candidate, one of the bigger ones. But the problem is Combatant seem to sort of manifest when, like, at the end of a ship's life, if that makes sense. So it would be hard for the Combatant to be a part of the crew because there probably wouldn't be any ship left. But maybe that's what happens. Maybe that's the end. Like, you know, that is the last member, is when the Sunny sort of gets eviscerated or something, and then boom, like this little Kinder Surprise pops out, which is a Klabauter person.
Well, I believe we were given two case scenarios where Klabautermen can form, which is when a ship is nearing its demise, or when a ship is loved very much.
Yeah, the love one can make sense actually.
So I think
that's I think what creates a Combatant, right? But what physically causes it to manifest as a physical
is the ship
thing?
ending the near of its life.
Yeah. Like a transfer of energy, you know, like when they burnt the Sunny, all of that, like stuff in the atom would just, like, you know, pops off.
What if that's
manifests?
What if that's the last panel we get? Like they find the One Piece and the Straw Hat Pirates disband, and the Sunny is retired, and then we just get, like, instead of to be continued, we just get the Klabautermon like waving at us, and it says the end.
Like sat on the edge of like a building or something, just looking down the Straw Hats, waving at the audience or something. That would blow my fucking mind, brother. That would blow my mind. I absolutely love that. Like, shit,
wild. But yeah, I know Lucas had to hop off, and I just wanted to make sure that I read off all of the things that I noted in the chat. There were a few other individuals we did not necessarily cook on, like Smoker. I saw Bushido bring up. I think he serves better purposes elsewhere, much like other answers that I've given, so I won't go too deep in on that. But if anybody else has any other potential candidates, we've gone over a long list. I think we've gone over Gaimon and Sarfunkel, Kinemon, and then I had the whole list somewhere. We've gone over, recheck out the VOD if you missed any of them. Lots of wonderful discussion. But we're gonna go ahead. Yeah, who was one of them that and Kaido, can't forget Kaido. Absolutely, Kaido for Straw Hat. We talked about a lot of the bigger figures, and as far as the rest of the takes, make sure you join the Discord, link in the description, and we continue the discussion on these community driven streams literally daily. We're going to be doing a Wednesday stream where we will also be engaging with the community's takes, talking about our favorite characters in different roles of the story, like our favorite Straw Hats, favorite villains, favorite this and that. So if you want to get ahead of the game on that one, you can join the TLA Discord, link in the description, and submit your card. We have a template in there in our favorite characters channel. So definitely go check that out if you're interested, and check out the stream when that happens this Wednesday. I unfortunately won't be a part of it, but I'll be submitting my takes, and someone here is going to stand on all 10 toes defending them, please.
Yeah, you'll be there in Combatant spirit.
And yeah, in spirit. But we're just going to kind of go around real quick and let everybody, you know, we always click here on the arc, but we've all got our own individual things going on as well. So I'll let you guys plug your stuff. Let's go ahead and start with Den. What you got going on, where the people keep in touch?
Good day. I'm the first line combatant of the last arc, NoChillDill. You can find us on Den Kushi, where we talk about things that may or may not happen in the One Piece story. And yeah, jump in the server like Vex says. On Wednesday, got a cool fun stream with like everyone's favorite characters, and as I say, it's cool to look back at the moment, considering the pace of the story. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and thank you Vex for being a perfect host as always, and whoever's streaming.
Appreciate it. And then next up we got Kube of the Red Sea. Tell us where nothing happens.
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone for being here and for being 100% full of energy throughout the whole stream. That was great to see in the chat. And so some people know I'm part of the Nothing Habit podcast with Tated Marv, Kusoland Theories, and Star Knight Andy Legs, where it's a podcast where we talk about One Piece, but nothing happens there. But check out the pod. It comes out every Monday. Honestly, it's fun. And we're supposed to record this week with a special guest. We won't say who it is, but let's just say that he is a One Piece character all by himself. So should be out in like in 2 or 3 weeks. But yeah,
looking forward to it.
Fun stream.
And then we have the struggler of the last arc who joined us a little bit late. Tell the folks where they can keep up with you and find you, brother. Tree the Wolf.
Hey guys, y'all can find me here on. Oh my god, I need to drink some water. You guys can find me here on Monday when I'm going to be playing some more Trails in the Sky with my boy Vex here.
Hell yeah.
I'm really excited.
So hype. You can also catch him on twitch.tv/TreeTheWolf whenever he's continuing playing through. He just finished Paper Mario 1000 Year Door and Elden Ring DLC, right?
Yep. Lots of
Hell
fun.
yeah. And you can also join his Discord, link in the description if you want to keep in touch with him. I know on Gang we're pretty much gaming daily, right? It's always vibes in there, and he's also all over the Last Arc Discord. Next up, we've got NoChillDill, the Dillist. Where can people find you?
So actually, I'm gonna throw a plot twist. You can actually find Straw Hat Lucas over on his channel, Straw Hat Lucas. He's got Rambling Addictions coming out. He's got Group 14 coming up this week over on Thursday.
Hell yeah. Mikey's man.
He's got the event set up, so it's got the time. Make sure that you drop a sub and click that notification bell so that way you can know when his streams are, unlike me who is blanking on what time it is. But
I think it's
Rambling Addictions, he's got those.
I think it's at 2 p.m. CST, 3 p.m. EST Thursdays, whenever, to be determined on which Thursdays. But yeah, his next Rambling Addiction is actually going to be about the theories posted in the TLA Discord in Punk Records. So submit your theories, join the Discord, submit your theories, and maybe Straw Hat Lucas is going to be going over that on his next Rambling Addiction. And he's definitely going to be hosting the stream, I hope, because I won't be there on Wednesday for whenever we go over everyone's favorite characters. But yes, I was actually going to plug Lucas. So now I guess I'll plug Dill. Pause. You can catch him on my channel. On my channel, vexyz Lurking Legend, link in the description, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. CST, where we go live with the Scarlet Pirates Group 2 solos. You can also catch him on Diaregulus's channel literally in just a bit, like later today. He's going to be cooking with Group 3, literally cooking with Group 3. It's going to be a blast. So join the description for all of the D&D fun as well. And then I'll also be on TLA Gaming with Tree. Tons of content for you guys. We've got tons more planned and on the way. We love you, chat. It has been so much fun. This has been a blast of a stream, and we're going to go ahead and close it out, and y'all have a